working, labor working, labor working. Change, real change. The dialysis unit up at the hospital. We had no machines, now we have 9. That is change, real change. Before 2005 there was no intensive care for Dominicans. Oh yes, that is change. That is change. They say they want change in this land. So we had to cure your sick healthcare plan. Yes, we care for the elderly. Under 18, over 60, healthcare given free, yeah. Now the country's smiling again. They had to run away from the stress and know the strain. Yes, the country's smiling again. Never again will ever experience that shame. Yeah, labor working, labor working, labor working, labor working. Change, real change. For years we couldn't fly out of the sunset. Now anytime it's Liat or Learjet, it's change, real change. West Indies cricket was only television. Now we see them live in the stadium. That is change, real change. The top hotels were only 4. Now we add a diamond from Morocco. That is change, real change. We used to host only at Carpets or hotel, but we stayed house all them as well. That is change, real change. High rents, rapine and confusion till Scarrow's housing revolution. That is change. That is change. Labor working, 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 labor working. Yes. Want to say a special good evening to you wherever you are listening across Dominica to the north, south, east, and west coast of the beautiful Nature Island. Wow. It is another Tuesday evening right here. Yes, right here in the Commonwealth of Dominica. I want to say a special welcome to you. Of course, the folks who are joining us in St. Lucia, St. Martin, Anguilla, St. Thomas, the U.S. Virgin Islands. I want to say a special big up to you in the United States and Canada. The folks who are joining us in France. I want to say a special big up to you also, in Guadeloupe and Martinique. Bonsoir. Ça qu'a fait au soir là, messieurs. Et moi, les souhaite les autres un bonsoir. It is no doubt already 90 minutes moving after the hour of 8 o'clock. We're having a little late start there. I was having a little difficulty there, so sorry about that. But again, welcome to you. It's, it feels like a couple of days that I wasn't there. A special welcome to the folks who are joining us on the Kyrie FM Facebook page. A special welcome to you all. I know many of you, looking forward to tonight's program. And, also to the folks who said, Simeon, what happened? You was there on Saturday night. I suspect you had a replay. Yeah, I did have a repeat program on Saturday night and I was not present. And so again, but we had to keep something. I mean, no doubt I'm going, as you know, the education continue. And some of the programs we have can always be discussed again. Yeah, so it's always, sometimes you didn't hear it the last time, you can always hear the repeat. But I want to say a special good evening to our political leader, Dr. Skerritt and family, and to all of the ministers of government and senators and all the folks who are, of course, working hard to make a change in our country, Dominica. I want to say a special big up to you. You know yourself. I want to say good evening to my Flossie. Good evening to my Flossie. Hope that you are doing okay today. And Hostel Genbook, bonsoir, Sakafet. It was nice seeing you over the weekend there. And good evening there to 100 Bates, all folks who are listening there in Wallhouse. And Newton, good evening there to the Grand Palrep over there in Roseau. South constituency there. Special good evening to you, Grand Palrep. Want to shout out, of course, the folks in, Bellevue there. Mr. Monroe, good evening to you and family, Mr. Moise and all the P7 folks and Bellevue folks, good evening. South City, Guampe. Yeah, man. Big up to you all. I know the folks up there always
locked in to the next level there. So a special good evening to South City, and not forgetting the folks in the east coast of the island, Dalis. Yeah, man. Special big up there to folks in Dalis and La Plaine and Boudica. I want to shout out Desi and family and the Etienne family. Also, Guillaume and all the guys up there in Carib La Roche, Victoria. Mr. Baron, Evelyn, good evening to you all up there in La Roche there. I want to shout out the folks in, of course, Guanfont and Monjon. Yeah, big up there to the Honorable Pal Rep there in Monjon and Rivière. Seawick there, always listening. The folks, they call themselves White City. Yeah, man. Don't know where to get that name from, but White City. All right, there, the folks in what about the folks in the Kailago territory? How you doing this evening there? Yeah, man, special big up to you all there. And the folks in Cassie Bruce. Yeah, man, big up there to Cassie Bruce there. Yeah, the boys and them was searching for this guy in Cassie Bruce. Yeah, man, so big up to them. And all the folks who, of course, came out and put themselves forward in search of this young girl. And want to say a special big up to you all. You know yourselves, you know, no one don't have to call names because there are so many people who came out. I mean, it's like the whole country came out and to search for this young lady and still can find her. So once again, a special good evening to you all, and continue. Yes, volunteering yourself where necessary for the country. That's something we grow up in, and we know that always happening in Dominica. Communities come together, and no doubt on that occasion there were a number of folks. We'll have a discussion a bit on that tonight as we have our program here this evening. I want to say a special big up to the folks who are also joining us on the Kyrie FM Facebook page. I know many of you would have tried to log into last week's program. Yes, looking for the next level, but unfortunately, you would not have gotten alive. Yeah, man, because we were actually doing a repeat of the program. As you know, I celebrated my birthday yesterday. And so I had to take a little time off too, and enjoy the weekend while we was also celebrating the birthday of our political leader, Dr. Skerritt, who have reached, that milestone of 50 years. They want to again big him up, and as he continue to do an excellent job, an excellent job, I must say, in representing the people of Dominica. And of course, tonight we will speak a bit on leadership, something that is very important, because I listened to the critics on the other side, and some of what they had to say with regard to the leadership that Dr. Skerritt demonstrated over the last couple of days in trying to encourage and provide the needed help that was required for the search of this young lady. And some of the things that the opposition say, we'll talk a bit about that tonight. As you know, on this program, we deal with lots of political issues, and no doubt there'll be no exception tonight for the issues that we'll take. But let me just open up the lines and no doubt engage you and take one or two of your calls, a couple of your calls there. I'm sure a few of you all want to say something. Let's go on the local line there. Good evening to you.
Simeon, good night to you, Simeon.
My brother, what's up?
Yeah, that's the mobile man, my brother.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, I like that. Simeon, I'm so good like to my Prime Minister, Dr. Skerritt, and my pirate Shikara Lokoti police, Simeon. Simeon, I just thinking about the 12-year-old child, Simeon. Simeon, he touched me. I tell he touched me, I was in Trafalgar, in Loda, I was in Loda.
Yeah.
And, I tell good friend Nasio Fountain. Yeah, man. I mean, Simeon, he so touched me so bad when I think about this child.
Yeah.
I always say why the mobile man really come for more to come in the Labour Party. Shikara Lokot, he put it. I told the people that a guy, some man come and take my children and go. My God, I want to know. I know this family, my brother is crying because I put in my foot with them and I helping them to finish cry. Simeon, my daughter, if this guy come, take my daughter and go 11:30, 5 years, 1 month ago, my brother.
Yes,
my child get pregnant. But I have to thank the welfare, Mr. Claude Wicks, all the policemen, and that. But when the result come in, the mother And my daughter saying, let him go. No case. Simeon, I find myself in hell. Now my poor mobile girl is going on 2 children with 2 different partners now. 2 different fathers. My God! I raised my children so well. Never no mother. Children, go back at your father home. So he was. Now my daughter is going on 2 children. My Simon, good night, my brother. Good night, good night, good night.
Yes, I mobile. And you know this already. One of them train they might become the prime minister of the country. You never know. Life is a strange thing. You never know, mobile. You might become a good doctor. So, just pray for them. On the local line there, good evening to you.
Good evening, Simon. How are you?
Hi, good evening. I'm all right. Thank you. And you?
It's nice to hear you again.
Thank you much. Yes.
Okay, I'm calling from Ponkole.
Yeah, my dear.
Okay.
All right, take care there. Yes, I big up there to the people in Fonkole there, always listening there. Want to shout out Umalafa out there in Kenfield there. Tess, how you doing this evening, my dear? DJ Bones, man. Big up to DJ Bones down there, and Vian and Jefferson, Macpherson there. All the guys down there in Kenfield there, always listening there. Massacre, how you doing this evening there? And Maho, the folks in man, St. Joe and Mero, always listening there. Local line, good evening.
Good evening, Simeon.
Hi, good evening, my dear.
And how are you?
I'm good, thank you. God bless you.
Belated birthday greetings to you.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you.
And I know you had a nice time.
Indeed, it was a wonderful weekend.
Simeon.
Yes, dear.
I don't like hearing you talk about that little girl. Every time you talk about it, it bothers me. That little girl, 12 years, shouldn't be where she is now. It's only God that can send her back to us, so we have to pray and pray and pray for us to get her alive.
Yes.
And I'd like to dig up my pal, Mr. Shanks Esprit, my sisters, the Chilford sisters, Lottie Smith in St. Martin, Jan Rivenka, Miss Abraham in New York. I know she's listening if she's not at us, because she doesn't miss that. Marjorie and her husband, I think he's by the radio they're saying every morning and every night. I would like to wish all laborites good life, strength, and courage, and let us pray for that little girl. She needs our prayer.
Yes, indeed.
My Prime Minister, Dr. Skerrit. Oh boy, I don't know what head he have on his shoulder. There is none to compare him. PM, you are on the right track. You're doing all what is right, and you're helping the amount of people you're helping, you cannot come. So just take it easy. What they say. They cannot take you out from there. Only the Almighty that can say, it's time for you to go and look about your family. I'd like to touch all laborites wherever they are. Let's get together. Let's forget, I didn't get that. Everybody cannot get at the same time. So I wish everybody a good night rest and pray for that little girl. She needs our prayer. In Jesus' name, she needs you. Simeon, have a blessed night.
Thank you, dear.
Enjoy your night.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you, and thank you. Yes, we have to continue to pray indeed for this young lady. I mean, it's been a few days now since she has been kidnapped. On the local idea, good evening to you.
Good evening, Simeon. How are you?
I am all right, thank you, and you?
How was your birthday?
Birthday was good, Yeah, birthday was good. No complaint.
Okay. I miss you last week, but at least we get something.
Yes, indeed.
Simeon, that little girl, I mean, everybody, right now, everybody speaking about there's a vision. Now everybody has vision. Everybody dreaming. Now it have more God there. I don't know. If you have an advice, something. I know where she is. She's in good hands. She's safe. She by the mango tree. She there and whatever, the river, or by the church, whatever. That is not how people do things. Go house to house. If you have an advice, you're not going on the radio and so that man is that man's smart. Somebody show me that man Facebook, right? That man nothing, so he not like ordinary man, right? Before they burn the man house, I seen the man house, I call it a beast house. All kind of writing. I mean, the child suffering. You see why when it's right now, night time, I feeling for her. When it is raining, it's something else. The child here going to come like a rasta. When the child period come, what are going to happen to the child in the bush? I don't think that child bathes in. The man will afraid to go to the child wherever he is with that child. And I don't believe that man nowhere close, right? It's that man that let go the person child, let the child go out and have a life for us. This is a young child. You cannot do the child. Everybody have children. Somebody they're going to look for the child like I wait a joy ride. It's food I going for, it's drink I going for. They didn't dress for that. I see some people come up from Caribbean, and I tell you, they jump down the transport, you can see they dress for that. They're going out in the bush. They go in. The people that in the bush, when they come back, they cannot get food, people eating all. They didn't cook the food for you, they didn't bring it for you, they did juice. Let these people enjoy themselves when they come. Those people hungry. They sleeping in the bush, ants, bread, ants biting them. They're going to have the missing for everything. If you haven't got stamina, do not follow those people. And they go in a crowd and talking. That is not the way people looking for people. You're looking for your young child. Put ourselves in that child, right? And I have a little grandchild, and I mean, if that happened to, like, I do, well, people go crazy. People go mad because I know what it is. You see, me, I afraid darkness. When it's night to go, I cannot sleep, right? I cannot sleep. Much else for it to be in a cave or in a bush or wherever. If somebody have a hiding for somebody, but they let go the person child who have information, go to the police and say, look, so. Do not go and feed the man in the bush. Don't bring thing for the man. Or some of you know well what's going on. That look like a setup. And I feeling it for the child. Every time I think about that child, like I cry. You know, all yesterday I sit down crying, and I know what the child thinks. The child is a child. If it's a man, like it's a young boy, he might try to do something, but the child just there. The child is a child. The child to meet her friends. She have to go to school, common insurance, I mean, let go the child. And the people that have the information, please go to the police and say, well, look so. Don't say, I dream, I think, I have a vision. That is lie. Come on, the child need to go out. Because I feeling for that child, it's my child. I cannot sleep at night. It might get my mind just running on the child day and night, right? When I look all under my house, with the child, not they hide, let go where I pass. And I'm looking for that child too, in my own way, and if everybody talking about the child, right? So I'm feeling sorry for her. Sorry, and people, information, go to the police. If you know where the child hiding, put out the person child, let them catch that man there. Please, the man dangerous. I'm feeling sorry. Man, good night.
Yes, my dear. Yeah, I feel your pain, and I do understand how you feel. I mean, this is a really sad one, and I know so many people are praying for this child there. Good evening on the local line.
Good night, sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening to you. Mola Sakoto. Simen la te bon, misi, te bon.
Happy belated birthday. Better late than never.
Merci autant, merci. Oui. Moi la kapon easy, man. One day at a time, to Jesus.
One day at a time?
Yeah, one day at a time. One step at a time.
That's how it is.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And I say good night to my parents. I have voice for a couple days. So I say good night to her, her mother and her family, and which I can never forget her.
Yes.
Always want to have her in my heart. For what you're doing for me.
Yeah, man.
And I can never stop calling her name.
Yes,
Dr. Alice King of St. Joe.
Yeah, man. Yes, I. Big up there. Yeah, man, Mr. Jack. All right, pas problème, monsieur. D'accord. All right, poyez là. All right, monsieur. Où l'âge là actuellement? Bonsoir, madame là aussi. Bonsoir. Yeah, man, want to pick up the folks in Penville, Vegas. How you doing this evening there? Penville and Vegas, they're always locked in there. On the local line, they call a good evening to you. Good evening.
Hello, good evening. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Neighbor in the house. Davis.
Yes, I. Big up there. Yeah, man.
Let me tell you, we cannot get Kyrie on the television set.
You're not getting Kyrie on the television set?
No.
All right. Thanks for informing us.
Okay, then.
All right, thank you.
To my next level tonight. I'll go well.
I know. I know. If you have the internet, you can log into the Kyrie FM Facebook page.
Okay.
All right, take care there. Yes, I there. The folks in Dailies, they're saying they're having a little difficulty. They're not getting us on the television. I'm not sure what's wrong, but I'm sure that management and we'll have a look at that. Let's take this call on the overseas line. The overseas line, good evening to you.
Simeon, good night.
What's up, my brother?
Today my birthday to you.
Well, boy, happy birthday to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Simeon,
Yes, man.
I don't want to be negative, but I just want to say something, right?
Go ahead.
I hear people giving interview and talking about child is all right and child is all right and child is comfortable. The police need to check them people, you know. Because if I don't watch a lot of crime scene movie, and when you see things like that happen, first place they go is by the family, you know. Simeon, you cannot want to be going on radio and saying child is in comfort and the police does not question you. How you get that information? Where did you get it? The police need to know that. Thanks for taking my call. I'm just making an observation, okay?
Yes, my brother.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, man. Yes, yeah, man. Thanks for that. I know. And yeah, let's go on the local line there. We'll have a chat on that in a while. On the local line there, good evening.
Yes, hello, good evening, Simeon. What's up?
I am good, thank you, my dear. I'm good.
Calling from the Jimmy apartment. I'm not getting Kyrie at all.
You're not getting carried at the Jimmy apartment too?
No.
Oh, you're not getting us on the television?
I just watching you on Facebook.
But you're not getting us on the television?
Yeah, no. Not saying nothing, not getting nothing like Kyrie, neither DBS, I'm not getting them.
Okay. What television you have? Flow, DG?
The television?
What network?
DG.
All right, then DG. All right, thank you.
All right.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you, dear. Not sure what's wrong there, but we will surely have that checked out and make sure that you all can get the station. On the local line there, good evening to you.
So, Simeon,
Yes, sir.
good evening. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, man.
That DG is a DG problem, so people it doesn't have nothing to do with Kyrie.
All right.
It's a DG problem. It's all over.
Okay,
You know, so they have to understand that has nothing to do with Kyrie.
great, man.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Okay, so this caller is saying that the problem is with DG, not with Kyrie. All right, so they can get that fixed up for us. On the overseas line, good evening.
My partner, how you doing? That's good.
Yes, God, I'm good. Thank you, man.
Yes, Simeon, somebody no bravo, somebody won't with Montemala.
With him.
First thing, my speak to me. I just see me birthday this week. Belated birthday.
Yes, I. Thank you, Guada.
I got to tell you something. You know, partner they are searching for in Grand Bay. And the police close to the house by the partner family, searching for the partner. But the partner in the house, just next door neighbor. I seen all the different spots searching for him. And you know the neighbor house. So I don't know if he's the same thing with that guy. Because I listened to the program of his mother. The mother says she don't know. I could all agree she don't know. Because there were a lot of people that said in a lot of rumors. I heard the father's voice also. They said, and they're calling on the guy to bring in the child. Okay? So that partner, he can run. But he can't hide. Because that one day, they will catch him. One day they will catch him. One day, by all means, when they catch him, he has to talk about that child. He has to bring that child. Anyway, see me?
Yeah, man.
I want to say last thing before I go. Labor can't survive. The labor can continue to survive.
Yes, sir.
One love.
One love, Guada. Yes, I. Labor can't survive ever. Labor can continue to survive. On the local line there, good evening to you.
Yeah, Simeon.
Yes, sir.
I hear something today that the man is the child father. I lost a little bit on that.
Yeah, that was the mother speculating to that, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the mother was speculating about people saying that the child looking like the guy, and also I don't know why she would say these kind of things, but anyway, she said it on the radio.
Not because the partner was saying the man do hijack the child, the man take his child. So I was trying to wonder what's going on. Anyway, we just have to keep praying that we get her back alive.
Yeah, yes, indeed.
Okay, partner.
All right, thank you there. Yeah, man, thank you there. Yeah, I listened to that interview there with the mother twice to try to get the gist of what she was really saying. We'll talk a bit about that though. On the local line there, good evening to you.
Good night, Simeon.
Hello, my dear.
Chivita apartment locked in.
Yeah, man, big up there.
All right, bye.
All right, take care there, the folks in Jimmy apartment there. How's the folks in Wesley, Woodford, Penville, Vegas, Thibault, Bent, Hans Dime, how you doing? This evening, the folks in Tukari there. I want to big up the folks in Posse there. Yeah, man, big up to you all. Big up to Bubbles there, my brother, and family there. Always locked into the next level there. On the overseas line, they call. Good evening to you.
Good evening to you, birthday boy. How are you?
Good evening, my dear. I'm good, thank you, and you?
I'm kind of depressed, man.
You know, look depressed.
Situation in that China. Everybody depressed. Even though you're in Dominica, out of Dominica, everybody is depressed.
Yeah, I know.
Safe return, I pray for that safe return of the young child, man.
Mm-hmm.
A whole big person gone. Nobody doesn't know what's going on.
Yes.
But God is in control in spite of it all.
That's right.
Anyway, birthday boy, happy birthday. Belated.
Thank you again.
Hope you had. I said you're looking for yesterday.
Yeah, I did hear that. Yes, I did.
Fabian.
Yes.
What? I miss you Saturday self.
I know.
I said, oh, why are you sitting ready? I the replay playing. I said, oh, see me. Maybe going was in the bushes.
I was taking some time off that weekend there, but it went well.
Oh, you need to give Carl put us a break, you know. You're 50 plus years now, you know.
I won 1 year old now.
You need to take it easy. Them Albert already, you know, they're very strong.
Yes, I.
Anyway, Sibian.
Yeah, talk to me.
Listen to me now. I'm glad you enjoy your day anyhow.
Yes.
You see, when some of us Dominican does criticize our country, you know, it has people out there that does appreciate Dominica a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Today, yes, when I say that, today, man, I'm a doctor. So I don't even know what doctor. I forget it was anybody. All his body tattoo up. All his body. When I go to the office, I say, hey, you a doctor? He said me, yes. I said, so you do your schooling in the States, man. I said, but tattoo. He said me, no. He do all his doctor schooling right in the Nature Island.
Yes, I.
And he talks so highly about Dominica. I'm senior and how the people are friendly. Mm-hmm. They're nice. You never meet some people that so nice, okay, than Dominican. You understand?
Yes.
So I don't know what is critics outside there. No matter how much they try to bring down the country, but once you go in Dominica and they treat them right, they just always go back and put the news around, spread the news around. And I couldn't believe it, you know. Man. Tell me, yes, he's in Dominica. He did his study, had all his schooling to become a doctor, and he has his office right here. So you see,
yes,
the critics outside there, stop it. Why Israel does appreciate the country, it have people outside here do appreciate Dominica.
That's true. Thank you, my dear. Thank you again. Thank you. There are a lot of people, of course, out there who respect what's happening in Dominica. On the local line there, good evening to you.
Good evening, Simeon.
Yes, good evening.
I'm one of the prospect great caller,
Rampants. Yes, I.
Let me tell you. Let's say they get the fella and they get the child.
Mm-hmm.
What does the authority plan something about the guy? Because if he's not mental and he's demonic possessed, do they have a plan to take care of him? Do they have a plan to help him out?
Mm-hmm. Does who have a plan?
The authorities, because if he's demonic possessed, but he's not mental, you cannot leave him in the house because he might kill some people. You cannot leave him outside there, you can't leave him in prison forever. You understand? What plan do they have to help him?
Mm-hmm.
Do they have any plan to help him?
I'm sure they would have the logistic in place to deal with whatever the situation that they encounter. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
That she come back home to the family.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy in that kind of weather, knowing that how she's sleeping, how she's eating, or if she have any clothes, does she take a bath? You know, those things are concerned. So let's pray to God that things work out for the best, even by the end of this week. Thank
Yes.
you very much. I'm listening.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, there. Thank you, there. Yes, I know so many people are concerned about this child. This it has actually dominated the Dominican media over the last couple of days, and over the past, it has been yes. I mean, and you know, it makes a difference to see the number of people that came out and the way they came out, and you know, want to big up the guys from Roseau Central. Kenny G and all the guys who I heard on social media making an early plea for civilians to come out and join in the effort to search for this young lady. And, you know, many people already came out and accepted that call. And right now the police has actually taken over this matter from what I understood and, you know, has brought it to another level after really conducting this search for so many days and not find this guy. Yes, people have been calling me and about Facebook. Various Facebook postings that they have been seen coming from someone perpetuating to be the guy, you know, with photographs of him, with several different comments have been made there. You know, there are persons who said, well, the police should contact Facebook in order to get information in relation to him. I'm not sure whether that has happened or whether they're working on that or whether they have identified the people who are behind that. Also, some people are also saying that the Facebook postings that we are seeing are not necessarily that of the guy in question who have kidnapped this young lady, but it may be someone or persons who are acting or pretending to be him. Now, I found that kind of really strange. You know, that in a time when the entire country is praying for this young lady, and so many people are out there in the wood, in the bushes. You know, the policemen are all hard at work searching for this young lady. That if scenario 2 is to be true, where the people who are actually creating and deleting, because there have been a pattern, and I've been following it to myself over the last couple of days as to the what has been actually coming out, to the point where somebody actually did a short live on one of the particular Facebook page, which they claim to be that of the guy, and you know, in that short live they did, you could hear the voice of a person, yes, an individual, a man, yes, and in between you could hear the voice of you know, someone who is of course supposed to be speaking like a young person. Now, I don't know whether that is somebody who's acting or pretending, because if it is a fake Facebook page, then it may be someone who's doing that. But that is kind of horrible anyway, to just think that, you know, there are people in society that would think of manipulating something at a critical time like that. I just don't know. If it is fake, then, you know, it tells me that we have a lot of sick people that would just come out and do these kind of things at this point. It's really funny, but it's not a funny thing anyway. It is a serious matter, and so if there are people who are actually creating this fake Facebook page, then stop it. On the other hand, I heard the guy mother speaking on the radio. I listened to her speech. I went back and listened to it again to try to understand a lot of what she was saying. Obviously, I sense her pain as a mother as well. But she's dealing with a young man who is, you know, from what she explained on the radio, who is who has a condition and requires treatment, and no doubt has had some horrible experiences himself. But at the same time, he has in his custody a young lady who obviously, you know, you can see is a beautiful child. And you know, he was quite violent at the moment at which he obviously took this child into his custody. I mean, having injured his uncle, you know, and from the explanation I listened coming from the wife of the uncle who was actually injured, it would clearly appear to me that that the guy was very violent, you know, on that night, very, very violent, and therefore the level at which he went to chop up his uncle, you know, it tells me that he certainly is not of sound mind at that point, and it's very dangerous. He's a very dangerous person to just think of chopping up, and what we would say, she. Your uncle like that tells me that you have a good head, you know, and it's simple to say you have a good head. But he have a child in his possession. I heard the parents on the radio. They also said that they know he will not hurt the child. I don't know how they know that. I cannot tell you how they know that, more impact on it. But they seem to have alluded to that, claiming that, they know he will not do that. But I don't know how they could come to that conclusion, but that's the conclusion they came to. But we cannot say that he has not done that or did that, because no one has seen them since then. And we know that for sure that the condition in which he took that child was not one where he just took the child and go, was one where he actually was willing to chop up his uncle to take the child away. So I mean, they have to accept that he is very dangerous, and he needs to be treated as that. But no doubt, if he's somewhere where he is, and his mother said that he's a fella, he lived in the bush for 6 months, and stayed in the heights of the jungle of Dominica for 6 months. So that tells a story in itself about his condition of his mind and what he has experienced in his life on this earth. So he has a lot of personal issues, from what I understood. But again, it seems like it's one family that is there all together. I mean, his uncle and auntie and all of the rest of it. So yes, it is still continuing to be a major concern for Dominica, and we continue to make the plea for this child's safe return, because as the days goes along, someone said that the recording that we had received actually on social media was intended to give a signal that the child is still alive, because many people are fearing for life. So if it is so, if that recording that I heard is really from the guy, then then he ain't that far. It tells me that a few things that he would maybe be in areas where he has access to obviously internet, or if he's the one on social media. His mom said he didn't have a phone, but she did say she buy phones for him, so it's possible. And he's a very smart guy, according to her, and he knows how to do these things. They're good. So a lot of things are happening. A lot of people are still searching. A lot of minds are still at work. The authority is doing everything that is possible to bring this little girl home. And of course, we heard from our own political leader, Dr. Skerrit, who obviously, as he has always done in Dominica, no doubt, continue to provide all of the facet of the state in order to assist in the search of this child. And I want to congratulate the government and all of the people who really came out in doing so. And we pray that in the next day or two or something, that we will be able to get some report as to where the mother said that the guy left with his frying pan and his saucepan, and she know that I find the mother is a little bit, she knows a lot of little things, but like anything else, mothers are always close to their children, but she knows a lot about him and what he does and what. But she seemed to say that they are Christians. She claimed on the radio, and she will not lie, neither harbor the guy. She said all of that too. And so if she knew where he was, she would have said, but she claimed that she doesn't know, but she still have. It seems to me that she's living by some level of faith. Let's pray that her faith is correct, that he has not harmed this child in any way, and that child will be able to live her life on this earth. I from the reports I heard from the grandmother and who gave an interview to my friend there, Curtis Matthew, is that this child has actually been the mother for the child seemed to have disappeared. And to date, they never found her. So again, strange things happening, people. That's why we have to continue to pray. We have to pray, and we have to go in the church and pray. We have to go on our knees and pray. We have to pray to God for guidance and protection of our family, our children, over the land. Because you see, we have a lot of wicked people. When you see those people go and stand up in the cemetery, yes, these so-called people that claim that they were walking on Wednesdays, when you see they went and stood up over the grave in the cemetery while they were having this so-called walk, having some kind of ritual over these graves, praying, what they doing in the cemetery, praying over these dead people for? What is it that Afimati and all these people were walking on that particular Wednesday where their photographs stand? I mean, it's a strange thing. You when you want to pray, you go, but what were they praying for? What they were praying to these dead souls, that bodies that were buried in the cemetery? Was it that they were trying to evoke there? It's funny enough, as since they had this funny prayer in the cemetery there, all of a sudden I just find so many strange things that's happening. I mean, I don't know if it's coincident. I mean, I can't say. But since these guys was in the cemetery, asking the dead for whatever they were asking the dead for, because he wasn't praying to God. And if you're going to pray to God, you're going to go in a church, you're going to go and where we are taught and we were raised in the church, you go and pray. Yes, and you kneel on, you can pray where you are, but you pray to God, you take your Bible. But these, they didn't take no Bible. I don't know what kind of book they had. It's some kind of Deliverance book, whatever it is they had. But they go in the cemetery anyway. And they try to see if they can evoke the dead, because Mr. Linton told them that dead people was voting in one of those elections. So obviously they seem to be worshipping the dead now. I can't understand the UWP. Sazok fait a cimetière. So anyway, that was just to tell you that sometimes, people do things and you have to wonder whether evil spirits are not helping to give life to the evil spirit. And that's what one have to conclude that the opposition UWP was doing in the cemetery. They can't win the election by the ballot. The people of Dominica don't want them to run the business of the country. So they go and worship the sun. Back then in Point Milat, they lose the general election. A curse fall on them, no matter which leader they bring there, they can't beat the Labour Party. Now they're going back in the cemetery. So it's not the sun they're worshiping now. They're worshiping the dead in the cemetery, hoping and praying that they can raise those dead spirits and that those dead spirits can bring them to power. That's the only conclusion I could come up with, because I can't find no logical explanation to justify the opposition being in a cemetery praying to the dead for against the Labour Party. Sazoka fella. And it's the same thing like when Joshua Francis went into the church in Vekas. And so, you have these people who are involved in their sorcery, their obia, and they do these things hoping that that something good can happen to them. But there can be nothing good that will come out of that, except wickedness and evil that will come out of that. Nothing positive will come out of this thing. So people need to refrain from getting involved in that and don't follow the opposition when they go into the cemetery next time and have their so-called ritual. Don't follow them. If it's there they want to take you, tell them take you to the church instead and pray. Take it to the Lord in prayer, not to take it to the dead in prayer. You understand? Ever since our opposition la Cafe Dominic. And sometimes they go on the radio now and talk about all sorts of things that is going on. Now, as we speak about this missing child and the people who came out and gave their support, it's funny in Dominica that our Prime Minister, who obviously all of us know is always taking the lead in basically almost everything that he can give a contribution to in this country where his time and service to the people is concerned. The opposition criticizes our leader when he is either not doing something. Strangely, a dog dies on the road, they call the radio to blame the Prime Minister for the dog that died. Somebody gets into an accident, they find a way to take the accident and turn it into a politics because it's something about the Labour Party and whatever that seemed to be. So almost everything that goes wrong in the country, they find a way to blame the Labour Party. So recently, as you saw with the issue in Wanano, where they had they had a base there where people were assembling. Obviously, many people came from different areas, but Dr. Skerrit was involved in making sure that that the assistance that the police needed and the citizens needed, that they would have had it, and obviously he came in and gave his input into it and spoke to the nation and even if we have not found this child, but he did not sit on the side like the leader of the opposition who thinks that as a public servant, someone who has given himself to serve the people, that it is not his business. He would have allowed the people of Marigot, obviously, to go without any help like he did during Maria. Didn't think it was necessary to go and bring a bottle of water for them. So he would just sit on the side. But Dr. Skerrit is not that kind of person. Even if he have his busy schedule, he'll come down and make sure that he's on the ground, giving strength to the people who are obviously putting a helping hand. I'm listening to a radio program this week, and the opposition is going ballistic. They're mad. They vex. Why you think they're so vexed? Oh, the Prime Minister should not be involved in that. Oh, what is the Prime Minister doing there? Why is the Prime Minister not over there? Why is not this person and that person that doing this and that doing that? And I'm saying, this is why we have a leader that shines among all other leaders in the country. And I say all other leaders because no doubt, like Evangelist Peter Augustine said, that Dr. Skerrit, people will call on him for his leadership when times of problem and trouble will follow them. Because he obviously is a caring person and understands what it is when things go wrong with people and try to make it right for them. And so, here Dr. Skerrit was on the scene. And for the opposition, they believe that his involvement should not have been. Now, here you had the French people helping in the connections, in the search for these people. Who is best posed in the country to be able to handle country-to-country negotiation on behalf of whatever form of assistance that would be needed in order to search for this child? Nobody else but Dr. Skerrit. I mean, so when I heard the critics from the opposition trying to give the impression that they found something wrong, and this is one of the problems that the UWP have. Everything that Dr. Skerrit does in the country, they try to take it and they try to spin it and they try to create, rather than putting their effort and their energy on really where the focus should be on what everyone is doing, which is in search for that child. They put their energy on trying to see how they could find a way to bring some politics into criticizing Dr. Skerrit for obviously, the demonstrating again great leadership at a moment of crisis in Dominica where the child has disappeared. Now, some of my friends in St. Lucia said to me that they wish they had what happening in Dominica in St. Lucia and other countries because, people disappear and no one is searching for them like how they see the Dominican people really came together to really bring that child back. And it's just rather unfortunate that with all the hard work that have actually gone into it, that, we have not actually succeeded in finding these people. But I have no doubt that that the work will continue and until such time as information can reach us as to where exactly and this guy is keeping this young lady. But in all of that, you have to find the politics of the opposition. And so when I heard them, I laugh again and I said, here is another situation again where Dr. Skerrit obviously, is doing his job. And that's what he does well. He's doing his job. And they cannot deal with it. They cannot stomach the fact that leadership again is being given at all levels of the affairs of the country. Now, where is the opposition in all of that? Where is the opposition in all of that? You listen to them, obviously, on their programs, trying to admonish the guy, and they are more concerned. I mean, I was very strange when I heard some of the questions that were being asked. The opposition seemed to be more concerned about what will happen to the guy, than what will happen to the young lady. I found that angle was I mean, the child, the guy maybe know how to live in the jungle. He maybe can go there and live for 6 months and live his life without any worries. But a 12-year-old doesn't have that same level like what the level at this guy. And so to pretend like as if, this guy can just, those in the opposition can just maybe have this child with him as company or to treat this thing lightly and to put so much concern about what will the guy has a serious problem and they have to accept that. He is not a normal person. Normal people don't do the things that I saw happening. So we have to, he's very dangerous and therefore we have to be, everybody should be concerned. And rather than trying to criticize our political leader for the tremendous job that he has done so far in putting all of the assets of the states that he can put towards making sure that all what is needed in order to find this child can be given to the police, they should, rather than giving their support and thanking thanking him and all those who are doing this. This is the criticism we have. Now, on the other hand, now, I'm coming into the station here tonight and I'm listening now to Dr. Andre and Sheridan Gregoire and others who are obviously now trying to give the impression that what these crimes and these things you see that are happening, it is because the country doesn't have any employment. It's because of poverty. It's because of because how employment and poverty end up with what happened, these scenarios that we are hearing about there. How? But here is the machination of the UWP, even as I speak tonight there, who are already putting themselves at work now to take these situations that has happened. You had some unfortunate shooting. You know, like Dr. Skerrit said, when you put the percentage of crime that is happening in Dominica versus that is happening in many other countries, it's very low in percentage. It's not like as if we have had a huge, one death is too much by violence. This is something that we must always all condemn. But when you put logically the percentage of crime at certain levels as compared to Trinidad, St. Lucia, some of the many other countries that our neighboring countries, you realize our crime level is not as high. Now they say about tonight about the police doesn't solve no crime. That's not true. The police have solved many crimes. There are some that go unsolved because people may not see who did it or there may not be witnesses. But most of the times, you hear the police arrest somebody and somebody obviously is paying for it. But when I heard how Mr. Andre was presenting the case for the UWP and to say that what we are seeing in Dominica is as a result of poverty, is as a result of lack of employment, and they are trying to tie in a political twist now to the situation, then this is where now I say they are playing politics with this thing. And tonight I'm prepared to say that this have absolutely nothing to do with that. I could look at the individual cases where either somebody got shot or, in this case of the missing child, for example, that has nothing to do with poverty, have nothing to do with unemployment. The guy has a psychological problem which his parents admitted to. So this is something that's not a government issue. That's not a country issue. That's an individual guy who has a serious problem and need help, obviously. So poverty and crime, while they will try to give people the impression that it is because nothing is happening in Dominica, like they have always said, because that's the motto of the UWP. Nothing is happening in Dominica. And so now you have crime now and you have this. This again is a misleading piece of information being put out there even as we speak tonight there, where those on the opposition will try to take advantage. Yes, they're trying to take advantage of what is a simple situation and trying to turn it obviously into what is no doubt has nothing to do with the government itself. But let me take a call as we go in there, engage with the listeners. Caller on the overseas line. Good evening.
Good evening. I just want you to ask one question. Those who live in Canada and United States, ask them what is the percentage of crimes that happen in the United States and Canada being solved. It's only 20% of the crimes that happen in Canada and United States being solved by the police. So when they're talking this nonsense, let them understand the police in America, Dominica are the same because most of them doesn't solve the crime. Thank you.
Yes, caller. Thank you for your contribution again. And but that's the understanding. You see, so sometimes when I hear people want to make it look like it's a Dominica thing, that because some kind of crime happened, that it's like it makes Dominica the worst place because these things happen, man. These things happen in a lot of countries and people have disputes sometimes people feel like the only way they can settle their dispute is to get violent, is to fight, and is to take a weapon and is to shoot, kill. Those days, people don't try to discuss things. People. That's why we have to avoid provoking each other, avoid disputes, and try our best to, to be honest in the business that we do in this life. Because sometimes when we're not honest, it can cause, one to provoke the other, and you end up with situations like that. On the overseas line, the caller. Good evening to you. Good evening.
Brother Simeon.
Yes.
Fireman touching this. Good evening to you, Brother Simeon. Good evening to Rivernica and the world.
Yeah, good evening.
Let me tell you something. We really have, as I said, we have to defend that country. You are telling me, Simeon?
Yeah.
No matter what Judas, Barabbas, Pharaoh, all of them say, we have to defend our country. Simeon, right, we have that code of our country, right? But the problem I have, brother, truly, Simeon, I can tell you personally, I know the fellow that do the crime. I know his mother very well because me and I'm two different sides in political vice, but me and I have enough love and respect. You know me, a fireman. I don't have to lie love about her. She does plant 20 full and bring in Rivernica to sell. So she not like top of her doing anything. She's doing something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
she's doing something. You know what I'm saying? But you have a political side. See, not nobody full. All we are talking and saying what they want. Any one of them that day, if it was the child or the daughter, whosoever was involved in that accident or that incident, they would think the same way as a mother thinks, Simeon. Simeon, everybody responsible for their own action, right? Now, when you put you in the world, we don't have a man of their own. They have a man of their own. They have a life of their own. None of us, no parents don't want back for the children. Nobody got them what they want. Only if it's a real malice mother or father, you want back for your child or your daughter. You know what I'm saying, Simeon?
Yeah, yes.
You see, no. When I'm talking the malice, as I tell you, I don't have education, but I have education. And based on what the mother say, and I listen to the mother well. That is a family affair, Simeon, right? The mother say, Mr. Married to Mr. Have a woman, Mr. to be in St. Thomas. And he had a woman in St. Thomas whatsoever. I do before they married or after they married. He say why he was in prison for 3 months, something like that. He ended up coming out without the woman, without the woman, no, he was coming out. When he come back out, he didn't even live in the room, he meet the woman with somebody in his living room and a match, he said, okay, his clothes. Right? So from there he got to flip. Which again, but anyhow, the woman checking is a good person, so they come back and make back themselves and get together. So you have a little girl with the wife. So now the child, you say you have another brother, how many brothers they have? But you have another brother that have children, but them children is white kind of children, that kind of way. He don't like white, is black children he like. So it's a little girl looking just like his daughter, which is that one is 12 years and the one he have his daughter is 6 years old. I know what the mother say, and I listen to what the mother say. You know what I'm telling you? So she said, no, he's not a bad person to destroy her family and whosoever. Me myself, as a person, I don't have education and don't have sense, but I have a little sense. Because if somebody loves you so much and they care about you so much, no matter your brother, number one. That person that is not your uncle, that your brother, that you think of the love. You know what I'm saying, Simeon? You don't have to match at your brother and even take the person child and go wherever you go. And that's my problem. And as I tell you, the sister of this child is just her family, and I don't know what collection they have. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is the way you do there is wrong. But by the end of the day, based on what the brother do, and people say what mental or a different thing. Now our uncle say again now. He's his nephew, and his nephew say he wants a virgin child for him to drink her blood and eat half of the body. That the man send the radio station, you know. Because the man send his brother come and call him. He's his brother in blood. When he watch, he cover his brother whatsoever live him come. The man says America, he just call him this phone, you know. And then he call his uncle and whatsoever thing. Them man has a problem long time. You know what I'm saying? But anyhow, that happening, Simon. What happening now, Simeon? I top up on this crew now on a program saying about, we need a sniffing dog. We need why do you think the fella flying over Wolbos house over where you're flying there? What are you calling it?
Yeah, was that the drones?
The drone, thank you. We need a drone. We need all kind of different things. But at the same time with the person that I'll be saying, we don't need to oversee people in our business. We don't need to oversee people. One day I had the problem in South Greece, they've been foreign police. But now that same top of saying we need to get foreign people to do whatsoever. Even saying next house of a parliament, we hope they'll have a sniffing dog and blah, 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 which again, top up on them and them problem they have. They even say that, I even hear one of them who's saying that Rivernica to take 2 days holidays in this because of that same incident there. And I find but we have a serious problem. How you can tell me, I don't tell you that everybody's suffering because end of the day I tell you we have a backlog of our country because I've never our culture, Simeon. You know what I'm saying? So how we can take that to this for like but no, that don't make no sense. You can't close the country because of that Rasta. It's not a million people are going to know and get it real because they have no concern. Now see that again. Mr. Lennox Clinton, the opposition leader, right? You saying so much thing about the policeman, I tell you again. You, Lennox Linton, don't forget, you have a bad signal. You're a malice man long time because I tell you, usually they're just like World Boss, you know. If World Boss never tell me go and fight police and go and stone the police, I don't follow the World Boss again. He better know that. And you can't go and tell fireman that. Because you know the police is the security of your country. You know what I'm telling you? No matter how you're outside or inside. Where is one day you come inside? That's going to be, you want to fire all them police and use the police work for you. You know what I'm saying? So Richmond, when you put in when you send them kind of things there, them people right now will River Nickel, a lot of the youths and them, because you know what time we play a lot of sports, we'll fight and together. Right now it's crack and cocaine and it's guns and killing and shooting and things are going on. It's a game. It's a game. Because right now there poor people, what they pick up in the culture so much, the what they call jealousy. I thought that poor black people, they have in that bright, they love that. Simeon, we have a kind of enviness. We have a kind of hatred. We talking, you know. But our heart, that's why people believe in God. Because when you can't believe in God, you have to know yourself. Because the Father says, live in the hearts of you. So by your action, you don't know what you are, what you're defending, what you're doing for people and for your country. And for humanity again. You know what I'm saying? You're not just saying, talking. You have to practice what you preach.
True.
And that is the problem we have in our country. And what is happening right now, you not dumb. River Nica, well, that place is a garden. That place is a blessed place. That place is a rich place. Nobody can tell what they want. Who just bless someone place? That place is a blessed place. We have millions and millions. Haitians say, Ama say, Evemage, pick up and eat. So how come our people can't pick up and eat? It's the culture they choose. They change their attitude. They change their way of life. They change their real life. All man to do is just life easy, pick up right away. Right is want it now. It can't work like that, Simeon. Simeon, our country is a blessed, rich country, Simeon. We have to build our country. The country, I always say the country cannot build itself nowhere in the world. People is the problem of the world. The world, our problem is we. That is the problem. So all them things happening when them talking the garbage, they want River Nica hungry and River Nica. But not them man have the problem with. Because that's what them man calling for every time in our country. Badness, malice. All they calling for is fantasy and illusion, nothing positive. Them man have one day them man saying good about the country, no partner. And when I hurt my heart, they plenty have to jump up with my phone for me. And top up the working nowhere. And because top up talking is malice and it's fantasy and illusion, top up to get into every month. See, when you want to pass a law about that now.
You're the law.
Joke thing, that's serious case. When you want to pass a bill or law in the house of assembly and make the boss and the crew know, right now it's not your business, whole boss, it's our business. Because we let them going on. And if we look at the thing now, we have a problem. Because we can't be paying them man money to destroy our country and destroy our people. That cannot be correct, Rasta. That's why all them things happen in our country. Because all them man, they don't even want to look at youth man, like a good example. All them shooting and killing and going on there. That will never be happening. We have to get it real. Them is example. We have to follow them as we have a footstep of them to follow. Just like one boss. But it's a great example. They can say what they want. It's jealous to have them like that because they're checking who is this man. But this man is the son of the Almighty Father. He don't come by himself. The Father said, "Live of man." He created us in his own image and likeness. None of us will come there like that.
Yeah.
We come from a mother and a father. You know what I'm saying? We come there for a reason and a purpose, my Lord.
Yeah.
We have to get it real. Simeon, I tell you, we suffer in plenty, Simeon. Not too long, I tell you, the slave masters get paid, them slaves never get paid, Nothing what was going to do, nothing, What was helping people, giving them little resources and things. Oh, he devil money, he give people money free. No, he put things in place, tell man, okay, put all the stuff in order, do this, do that to get it. Oh, you have to make them pay. I talking about what they want, what we really want in our place, partner. Partner, I tell all you personally, the country itself have a problem with you top up on your crew. Because you don't have no love, or you have no respect, or you have nothing good, or you just ignorant, and maybe the big money you owe in there have all tormented like that in I suspect. The amount of money you owe in, that have all tormented. No matter how, or no matter what you do and say, God don't like ugly partner. Or you're never going to see all the way. Freedom Party had one Prime Minister, which is Mamo. Workers had one, Edison James, and I don't think they're going to get another one again. Partner, whole boss, you have to put yourself there. We that put you there, Simeon. Simeon, I just already have to have my own program because I really kind of feel like change them all. You just act on my nerves. You just sick of me. I've been hearing some people that foreign to suffering for their little life. Watching River Nica and calling River Nica a bad place to be. But now you live in America, 50 to state, you know how much death. They're even killing in church and school like when you see on. Simon, what year you never nobody go to school and kill people children in school? Simon, tell you, I tell you I don't take education. When I was going to school, Simon, in my time. Because I born 68, 69, 68. You know what I'm telling you? From them times there, I never know Simeon. No youth man coming to school is no kind of one, Simeon. My might have a little knife or something. But right now, what's happening now? Simeon is a new era we're living in now. fellas watching the culture and bringing the Caribbean. I tell you all the Caribbean people, they want to catch all themselves. That kind of culture I want to choose to bring them all themselves, to have all themselves in the Canada. See me? I don't be like them like myself. I clean like a whistle, I shut like a one. Because I always say, I learn from people. When I see people doing things are not correct and not right, I am not following it to be a better person. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I.
I know somebody have to call again, but Simeon,
Yeah, man.
boss, who live into you, there is no stopping you. Nobody can stop you without put you there. My big brother was my original mentor. Rastaman, a great Rastaman in River Nickel, great brother, Mr. Wah. And my original lawyer, Mr. Moses, not there physically, but I know he listens to Fireman, can tell Fireman, Bondi Fire. And I love that. And Sister Stephanie, not there physically, same spiritually. My mommy, Meredith, and not Mommy, not here, Meredith also. Mommy, not in St. Martin, Meredith, and Mommy in River Nickel. And the Shillingford sisters, Mommy, not here, always tell me to big all you up for. So enough love and respect for you. And my lady in Red in America, the Man family, the great family, Labour family. Build, my brother. Up and running, Simeon. This country is a country to build. We're flying in living colors. No stop with us. Top up all you have no credit left. Up and running, Fireman running. Bless up, my brother.
Yes, I, Fireman. Yes, of course, the lines are open, so feel free, yes, to call in if you want to make a contribution towards the discussion we have in there, of course, if you want to add some value as well to the discussion. But no doubt, let's go to the local line one time there. Call on the local line. Good evening to you.
Yes, Simeon Rosa South.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
Good, thank you. God bless you.
Simeon.
Yes.
From the time the show started, I listen in. But you know what? I tweet my bones.
Tell me.
And I listened to it on Carrier FM today. Not Carrier FM, Q95. Sorry. The matter of the show and highlighting the Prime Minister making a statement saying that Dominica is safe to live in. And I want to say, yes, Dominica is safe to live in. Every country have their problem. Every country have their crime rate. Every country going through whatever they're going through with human beings that live in among us, individual countries. And the man trying to make it look like Dominica is not a safe place to live because of that thing that happened to that young lady, that young child. They're trying to make it look as if Dominica is the worst out of the worst in the world. We can bring scenarios right between us, between Martinique and Guadeloupe, St. Lucia, St. Vincent. Dominica, I want to big up the Prime Minister. You know what he's saying. Dominica is a safe place to live. We will always have things. If we have to go back, I bring you back to memory lane, Simeon. I like to bring all you back to memory lane. Because I have full knowledge of a lot of things. I'm a man that listens to news and taking my politics locally, regionally, and internationally. Simeon, you have to go back to go back to the days, the first year that the United Workers' Party win as a government, the crime rate. That is the homework I give you to do, and I leave in you with that. Go back to that and see how much people that die for the first year they come in. I only leave in you with that. Thank you and good night.
Yes, I. Yeah, I mean, that's why I said that it's ridiculous for them to, try to take the situations that are going on and to give the impression that, that makes Dominica an unsafe country. And that's why Dr. Skerritt was basically sending out that call to tell people that, that Dominica is safe. I mean, it's not, Dominica is not safe because this happened. On the overseas line, they call. Good evening to you.
Hello, good evening, Simeon.
Hi, good evening.
Yes. I want all the young people that plan to go overseas to take an example of this same guy, because the guy had an opportunity. He left and he went away. He was so lucky he get a woman to marry him. And during the time of him getting his papers, he got himself in jail. When he came out of jail, he met his wife on a mattress in his living room with another man. Okay? So he had an opportunity to do better for himself. But some of our people, when we go overseas, we work with our own luggage. And when our own luggage back up on us, we coming back home and try to blame the government. The all wrong guys in the house.
Yes, thank you. Thank you there for your contribution for your contribution there. But I mean, as I said, it is an unfortunate situation, and that they are taking, now to give the impression that there's something wrong with Dominica. That now all of a sudden they want to pin Dominica and pin the country as a dangerous place. I mean, the opposition has done more dangerous thing in Dominica than anybody else. They are the ones that have asked for violence, and every day you listen to their program. Who preach and encourage more violence in Dominica than the opposition UWP? First, they went into a general election. They lost the general election from 18-3. Up to now, the opposition leader cannot accept that he lost the election. They're fooling people, keeping them in ignorance. That is keeping people in ignorance, telling them that they didn't lose, or the election was stolen. Be a big man and accept you were defeated, and, congratulate the other side, the winning party, and pray to God that next time you run, that God will give you a chance. But the man there for how many years now, barely aching about, and then have people behaving in real ignorance. That's what happened in the opposition, So sometimes people may be frustrated, because if you're listening to them guys, you will really get frustrated, Trust me. I mean, if you're listening to these guys, you are going to get frustrated. I mean, I have to have a strong brain in my head, I'm telling you, to listen, because sometimes I get angry, I even talking to myself. That is how angry sometimes these guys can get you, because, there's so much negative energy that they are feeding their supporters with every day, that, I mean, Jesus Christ, man. And then they criticize the country. Caller, good evening to you on the local line.
Good evening to you, Simeon.
Hey, good evening.
Sakafet.
Mwela sakoto. Yes.
I'm watching you and I'm listening to the people that are spreading the rumors.
Mm-hmm.
Simeon.
Yes.
We giving ourselves a headache. We, the people on the world of today, is we that giving ourselves headache. And I'm going to explain to you why. I am not, or what you call, a Christian, but I'm a Catholic Christian. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Jesus Christ die on the cross for us?
Yes, of course we were taught that, yes.
Okay. And then they call him, they say so many things about Jesus Christ. Who said to crucify him? Who said to do this? Who said he's not the king of the Jews? He said whatever. Didn't they bad talk Moses? Didn't they bad talk Abraham? Didn't they bad talk all the angels, the apostles of Jesus? Mm-hmm. So who is PM for them not to bad talk? Mm-hmm. Simeon, a dog don't want figure, but it will prevent a bird from taking the figure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I'm just trying to make you. They cannot, and they will not enter into the place of my Dr. Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit. Mm-hmm. No matter what, they can huff and they can puff, and they cannot enter. Let them blame the Prime Minister for all what is happening. Tell them to blame the Prime Minister of Barbados today with the 14-year-old child that's missing. Eh?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There is a problem in Barbados right now, a 14-year-old child missing. Tell them to blame the Prime Minister of Barbados. I can understand the lady. I can understand. I listen. I heard her on the radio of the other side, which I doesn't call that radio name. But I understand. There is no mother that hate their children. There are mothers that will sooty with their children, and there are mothers that will not sooty with their children. As fireman say, she's on the other side and me on the other side. But you have to think. You have to think of things. We, Dominicans, we have to think of things when we are talking and spreading all kinds of dirty rumors. If we can, if we malpale our mother and our father, who we cannot malpale? We malpale. Are you hearing me, Simeon?
Loud and clear, and you loud and clear, yes. Listening.
Okay. If we are malpaleing our mother and our father, who we cannot malpale? Who we cannot malpale? Okay? Simeon, me just asking, as Dominicans know, and I was watching the service of St. Anthony in Tukari. It was yesterday?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right. I was watching.
and they light their candle for that child, and they do all what, and they pray. And everybody, all we have to do is keep on praying. Simeon only prayers that can move mountains. If he is demonic, as they say, prayers will touch him wherever he go. He can go in a bottle and cover it. Prayers will touch him. Isn't it so?
Yes.
So let us pray. Stop spreading rumors. Stop giving our police, sometimes they have their faults, but stop giving our forces bad name. You all sitting down in Dominica, zoka size, ale wash wivye, zoka mal pale wivye. You all are sitting, you all are eating, you all are drinking under the Prime Minister, and you all are still back talking him. Americans don't back talk Americans. Americans don't back talk Americans. I mean, you may not like what something like that happening. Everybody have a good and everybody have a bad. But why Dominic Che, family way Che? What's way Che? We are a parrot. Our symbol is a parrot. We're talking all kind of languages. And then we're not asking ourselves a question. Go and confess all your tongue. Wash all your tongue. And pray and believe in the Almighty Father. So that within 2 days again, that little kid, Etienne, that little girl can come back to her family, her adopted family place, and for us to live like one. Love, we have to love one another. Give my Prime Minister and his family a break, and the government of Dominica, give them a break. They ban sell park is good night.
Yes, I. Yes, I. Nice hearing you, Tony. It's been a while. But, yeah, the telephones are going. Let me take this call. Let's keep the calls flowing. On the local line there, good evening to you.
What's up, man, Simeon?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you, my brother. I'm good, man.
Yeah, man. Simeon, I try to wonder how these fellas think, eh? No, they don't think. Simeon, how can you use that situation in a crisis like that and play politics with it? We're talking about two families being hurt, Simeon, not one, but two,
Yes, yes.
We're talking about Simeon, you'd have met my son on the boat. Look at the man is just 11. My daughter is 14.
Yes.
Think of that, Simeon.
Oh, man.
Your son or your daughter in that situation.
It
and a man who uses politics to gain some points. But, Simeon, we have always been safe in Dominica.
Yes.
Since I know myself, since I live here, I always know we have been safe. So every situation that comes up is a place to tell people not to come here then.
Well, I mean, we must not forget, that Thompson Fontaine and Linton and them traveled to the States, and what they went there to tell the people that our young people had guns and knives waiting to kill Chinese and Haitians, and this is the impression, they went overseas. They are the ones that have been given that kind of impression.
Yeah, and you made a point that is very strong, Simeon. They feed their people with ignorance.
Yeah, boy.
Simeon, the organization will not rise above its leaders, Simeon, no organization rise above its leaders,
Yes, that's true. That's true.
No organization rise above its leaders. Leadership is very vital. Simeon, what you feed your people that will talk about. And these guys feed their people with negativity every single day. So you don't stop and think for a moment as a supporter. That a man feeds you with that nonsense, that garbage. You don't stop and think for a moment and say, boy, that cannot be true. A peaceful country like Dominica, see people come here, they make everybody come in here, send position, grenade, and everybody come in here and they just find, boy, looking like place to live. Nobody troubling you, nobody harassing you, and you're on radio every day pushing foolishness, say Dominica is not safe. And one incident, instead you try to help the family, you in Portsmouth matching.
Yes.
That happened the Monday night, Simeon, but in Portsmouth on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Why did not take and say, boy, let me go one and see if I get that child. Let's see, go and help the families, the guy's family and the child's family. You in Portsmouth matching. My brother, you're sick. That is a sick set of people, Simeon. These guys are evil, man. You guys are children, man. You don't have 12-year-old and 14-year-old too. And that could happen to any one of us, Simeon.
Yep.
That could happen, and we must feel. We must, and that is the problem. These guys don't have love for people. So if you have love for people, Simeon, you cannot be getting on. So you cannot use that situation for politics. and try to and denigrate people and bring the country down and say, oh, Dominica is becoming violent and this and that. Look at what is happening. You know, that things happen all over the world.
Oh yes, man. Oh yes.
And most of them, some of their families in the U.S. and it's not a safe place. Man just gets up and shooting people. Man doing this, man doing that. And even we're so peaceful in Dominica, quiet. People don't die in Dominica, Simeon.
Anyway.
We are not violent people. We have never been violent. We will never be violent. Simeon, since these guys came into politics, everything has trimmed. And these guys are just problems. So you don't expect anything good from them. So don't expect them to say, well, oh, and this, they will not support the families because they're not interested. If somebody's missing, they don't talk, but they will say money is missing. But when somebody's missing, they don't say that somebody's missing, but they'll say, oh, money is missing. So you can see these guys, they have their agenda, and their agenda is to destroy Dominica. They will allow that thing to happen. We're in trouble, you know.
By telling you, man.
And we must thank God for the leadership that we have. The man was out of state. The chief came back in and immediately he went to the family. He went up there and got his briefing and from there he took it on. And things have been. But we must just be patient. God is still alive. God is still working. We are not aware of what is taking place, but God is aware of what is taking place.
Yes.
And sooner than later, I feel the child will come home. Because we pray for that every day. The whole nation has been affected, but not these guys.
No, I mean they don't. When you listen to the tone of their discussion, sometimes it seems like it's just ridiculous, man.
That's pathetic, man. These guys are sick. These guys are. If you don't have love for people, you don't want children. You're not going to want and sympathize. But instead, you're there marching doing foolishness wrong the place. Talking about peace and whatever and justice and whatever. My brother, we're peaceful already, so you cannot ask for what we have. Don't ask for peace because Dominica is already peaceful. And Simeon will move, you know. Without them, we're going to move forward, you know. Yeah. That's what they don't understand. Without them, without they being supported, Dominica will still move forward.
No doubt, my brother. No doubt.
Yeah, you know, I'm listening, man.
Thank you, man.
Good night, man, Chief Minister. Chief, good night, man. All right, Simeon, I'm listening.
Yeah, man. Thank you, man. Thank you. And you know, I mean, I heard them talking about law. Boy, let me tell you something. Lennox Hinton and the opposition talking about law and order, and the police is there to uphold the law, and the police is there to do this, and the police is to, I mean, you tell us that they have the only day longer bush you. I mean, Linton tell the people of Salisbury that they must fire Cool Wash behind the police. You see who calls for violence? When you tell the people, you tell your supporters that they must fire stones after the police. What is he telling the people? Cool Wash Bowie will come down like rain on the police. What is he telling the people? So when the Europeans want to talk about violence and people behaving in whatever, it is they that have a track record for telling people that they must take the law into their hands, that they must do as they wish. The authority, the police commissioner cannot tell them what to do. This one cannot tell them what to do. They can go and do as they please. That's why on February 7th in Dominica, we saw so many young people got injured. You know, they were cuts. People had serious cuts on their hand, you know. I don't know how they got those cuts. They bursting into people's property. Violence, you know. And then they come here this week preaching like as if Dominica not the worst country. Dominica is one of the beautiful countries in the world where people are very peaceful. Yes, there are people that have their misunderstanding, and misunderstanding is something that will never go away. There'll always be misunderstanding between husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, neighbors and other people. But there are ways to handle dispute, because dispute will arrive. That because the devil doesn't sleep. But we have to manage it when it comes. But we cannot live in ignorance. You know, we cannot live in ignorance all the days of our life. And that's why I said, when I look at Dominica, I said, you know, it is the opposition. It's the opposition that, and if this fella who has kidnapped this child was a frequent listener to the opposition, but hey, I can imagine how much worse this man's mind would become with the problems his family say that he personally is carrying there. Let's take this call there. Call on the offices and good evening to you.
Good evening, Simi.
Yes, my dear, good evening.
Simi, man, it's hurting my heart when I hear the opposition. That's people in the opposition talking about the like they want to pin Dominica. Dominica is an unsafe place to go. What is wrong with this people there? What is wrong with that useless opposition that we have in Dominica there, Simeon? No, man, it's highly impossible. This man doesn't behave himself. It was not the same people I was calling for boots on the ground.
Yes.
It is not what the same people I was calling for people to go and kidnap PM children. It is not the same people I was calling to go and get PM and go and drown them out in the sea. It was not the same people. Prevent people they had blocked the people from coming into Dominica. They're not after that last election that gone there.
Yeah.
They had a lady. Let's see what they did to the lady.
Yes.
Is they not calling for the violence in this country? They forget it have demons as hear them. They forget it have demons as hear them when they're talking, when they're speaking and asking for all these things to come. Simeon, Dominica is the most safest place anybody can be, okay? I will never support that, what they're saying there. Simeon, look at that. In Bahamas, what over the weekend there? 3 homicides just for the weekend alone, you know. It had after that, they had one just in the school. They had a basketball game. After the basketball game, some gunmen come up there and shoot one. Look at what that happening in Trinidad Day. A lady, I don't know who does terrorize that lady. She's 55 years old. Simeon, and she said, free neck on a stretch. Somebody keep on coming and in the house, you know, and rape her. Now it's by the neighbor, she does the fuck over, and they cannot find out who is that. And unless we still have higher crime more than Dominica. Jamaica. Look at the little Haiti judge, that judge, the lawyer going, and I never hear this opposition people come and say, don't come in their country. That's safe to go. Lincoln is a sick man. And Lincoln have a problem. His one problem Lincoln have is to become the Prime Minister of Haiti. That's only Lincoln interest. Okay? Look at that. Instead Lincoln put up stop what they're doing. They're matching uselessly for nothing. Go in the bush and help look for the little girl. You doesn't see that. See, I was feeling so proud when I see our Prime Minister in that command said that then when they were looking for the girl up there.
Yes.
PM on the scene. PM was on the meeting. And PM focus was not on that meeting there. His focus was to come home and to be on the scene. To get that child to her relatives. There's people that's out of wicked. I can tell you that wicked first fight, you know. No, man. People can't be wicked, so I want to go and pin Dominica. I just want to crime that does actual America self. Okay, if you want to know how they do crime, just go and watch the crime channel. And you can see how much crime that happened in America. And they're still going there. But it doesn't say it's not unsafe.
Right.
All they want to just bring down all the country day in, night out, 24/7. 365 days a year. All the crying down all the country. I cannot stop. And all you expect to come in government. What kind of people that does do these things there?
Tell them, my dear.
No, man, Simeon, this is too much. And that's got to stop. And since that useless party, we always have this, in Dominica. It seems that useless Lincoln coming. The day we cannot have peace in that country. The only problem we have is there's useless workers, people, you know, that causing all this debate in Dominica. And people start listening to them. See me, man.
Yes.
Make sure good night, good program, stay safe, and make sure, Saturday night, you don't do a Saturday night. Saturday night coming back, willing, make sure you come on the show.
Yes,
and you're going at 1 a.m. in the morning because you're making up for time.
Yes, I
don't tell you tonight to stay, because it was your birthday yesterday, you were tired. So
yeah.
Tonight you can go home. Yes, but so, Friday you'll be with us at midnight.
All right, my dear. All right, take care. Yeah. Let me read this message there. Someone is saying there, in Hatton Garden, yes. Of course, the incident in Hatton Garden. If Dominica is not safe, this person is saying here, and the UWP made it so. Isn't UWP that created Cheerios in Hatton Garden in 2005 during the Labour Party motorcade? What happened in Marigot in 2019 election to visitors and returning Dominicans? When UWP supporters said that they will wait on the beaches, yes, the ports and any port of entry in Dominica to deal with people coming home to vote. Were these calls making the country safe? Ask them to examine themselves. Of course, this person is saying here, it was their violent conduct that caused the U.S. Embassy in Barbados to put out a call warning American citizens to be careful traveling to Dominica. We never heard this before. And that is true. That these comments there that are coming there from this WhatsApp message is true. It's the only time we saw the U.S. Embassy put out notices asking their citizens, to be careful traveling to Dominica. It was only when the opposition, started giving the impression that there was something wrong with the election process in Dominica and, asking people to come into the streets to campaign against sales of diplomatic passports when the person they catch in the trap is the same leader of the opposition who obviously... So violence is something that we can align to the opposition UWP. Every action that they have wanted to take in the country is to commit some act of violence where and they always want to ask young people to get involved in their violence. Like someone was telling me, thanks God that there are some people that have, sense in their head. Because UWP got 15 or how many thousand votes. And if these people were to really, all of them were to follow these calls that have been constantly made by those within the UWP to take matters into their hands and to prevent a government, a democratically elected government from functioning, then this tells you what we are dealing with. And so when they talk about Dominica not being safe, it is they on the opposition that don't want to make Dominica a safe place. They would want to see the young people with guns. Linton seem to take pride in violence. That's why when February 7th took place, he found himself in Roseau, smiling, filming, what was a very dangerous thing taking place in the country at the time, where people were basically taking the law into their hands, which was based on his calling, And then he comes 5 years after and said he realized what really happened because it was liberalized. I was there. So you see the kind of way in which they try to come across to feed, all of this negative. And this is what's happening. So again, as I said earlier on, when a political party will not concede defeat in a general election is a bad sign for a country. Is a bad sign because unity among the citizens is something that you need to restore after any general election. And when a losing party will not accept defeat, then here comes the problem. The good thing about us in Dominica, we speak and we somehow find a way to respect each other's right at certain, where we don't take cutlasses and guns and politically. But what this opposition is doing in other countries, you see many lives have been lost as a result of that. That's why in the United States, you still have an ongoing investigation into what transpired in Washington, where 5 people died as a result of a misleading information given about election being stolen. And so, they have to take responsibility for a lot of that violence that we sometimes see. Caller on the overseas line, good evening to you.
Hey, Mr. Albert, I just want to wish you a happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I'm listening to this show. That's a very interesting topic you have going on. I am listening.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and have a good night.
Thank you, dear. Yes, of course, and yeah, indeed, and so they are the last set of people in Dominica that should try to, bring this country. I mean, people go around peacefully. I mean, that's a fact. I mean, there are some guys who obviously have their personal and private issues, and some of them seem to want to resolve it only by shooting, and occasionally you see these things happening. And we condemn all of those acts whenever they happen, wherever they happen, however they happen. These are not things that we in the Dominican Labour Party encourage or ask anyone to do. If you have people will have disputes, as we say, but this is not how anybody should go about settling the dispute. And so for the opposition to use these events, and you know, funny enough, they are posting on social media claiming that, oh, so many people died in the last couple of days, so many accidents, and so many this, and all of these things are to say what? That Dominica is not a safe place in Dominica. That is the impression that they are doing these things to give the outside world. And so if they could prevent people from coming to Dominica, they would do it. You know, that is why they would block the airport, block the ports, and block all of the various places of entry. Only a violent party. But in spite of that, violent acts do take place. And that's why when they try to give the impression that it is because of poverty, it is because of lack of employment, while sometimes people behave in this way, I'm prepared to say that this sometimes doesn't have anything to do with these two factors. And the cases in question that we are dealing with have nothing to do with these two factors. But that is the twist of the opposition. It is to say that Dominica, they want to give you the impression, is not safe. But Dr. Skerrit is right. Dominica is a welcoming country, and I'm happy to know that you know, the country, in spite of all the challenges we have had, you know, this weekend I was surprised to note how, you know, many of our hotels are beginning to pick up steam. You know, the flights that the government set up at the direct flights that the government have set up, for example, from Miami from the States to Dominica, how that is contributing in such a positive way towards the arrival of visitors on the island who are also coming in to Dominica. The impact of these things, sometimes we don't see them, but they are happening. People, I was impressed with some of what I heard over the weekend. But let's take this call. The call on the local line. Good evening.
Good evening, Simi. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you, my brother. Good evening.
Good evening, Simi. I still continue to pray for the safe return of this girl.
Yes.
The search I know continues. We're going to pray for the teams, you know, that will be assisting us in finding this young child. We're going to pray for the families. Yes. And I say families to mean both parties. Both parties. Because I believe both parties are hurting over that situation there.
Oh, yes.
You know, not just us as Dominicans, but just put yourself in the position of the father of that son. You know, it's not easy. You can't sleep as well because you have to be thinking about, boy, what he did. And you're also thinking about his safety as well.
Yes.
The safety of that child. And then on the other hand, you think of the adopted parents of that child who are also thinking about where she's at, where she's kept, whether she has to eat. And when we see the waters today and last night and for the past few hours now, seeing we know Dominica Forest not easy when it's raining.
Yes.
You know, so all our minds are on that. But we have to continue to pray for them. And of course, I support what you're saying with respect to the persons who are seeking to demean and tarnish the good name of a country, all in pursuit or in the quest to form government. It is rather sad.
Yes.
You cannot blame a government for accidents where persons may have died as a result of injuries that they sustained in the process.
Right.
What we have are persons who are careless and callous and do not care about each other. Accidents don't just happen. They are caused. And the more reckless drivers we have on the street is the more endangering it's going to be to other persons who are traversing the roads, even pedestrians who are crossing. There are guys, they have those sports cars, and they figure they're under too fast and too furious to die or go to the mortuary or go to the hospital. They're trying it out. But see me, we know Dominica Road. It's not like Jamaica where you have streets. It's not like Japan. It's not like Australia. It's not like in the United States where you have streets. You have miles and miles and miles of stretch. Dominica, before you hit it, you're already in the corner. All right? If you take in from from Foncole, if you hit that stretch there, you already, but if you hit a 80, you already by Linus in the corner, taking West Indies oil. And you don't have a choice. You have either to enter by P.H. Williams, straight down by Malcolm Stevens, or you hit that drain on the way to NP. That's how it is. That's our roads. And guys have to understand. Take it easy, my brother. Take it easy. This doesn't make sense to speed on the street, on the road, my brother, trying to get to Roseau. I've seen guys overtake, see me under the stretch. When you look for them, they're down by the gas station, filling their tanks. Imagine you kill somebody, you cost people's lives, all in the quest to head down to gas station to get some gasoline. Take it easy. It does not make sense. You understand? And some of our roads are slippery. Very slippery, especially when it rains, my brother. And some of them want to take the corner. You have to slow down to take a corner. They want to take it one time like you're on NASCAR. Brother, we don't have stretch for that here. All right? And we have a lot of drivers, my brother. And some of them are ill-experienced. Another thing I'm seeing with those things is every weekend tour. People drinking, driving, smoking. No concern for life and safety. And then you hear in an opposition taking that and tying that in to bad governance. How can accidents be tied in to bad governance? You don't see you have a problem?
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, man.
You have a problem. Another thing I saw was videos of a party that was kept maybe in the honor of the Prime Minister's 50 years. I mean, because someone or a child goes missing, the Prime Minister has bled, his heart is bleeding over that child. But what does his birthday party have to do with someone missing? And even making statements, irresponsible statements on social media that a sacrifice was completed.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
My brother, there is nothing more, devious than that. That statement made, it is arbitrary, it is useless. I don't even know what to call it. This is one of the most mischievous I've seen in all of our political lives as Dominicans. I've never seen that, my brother, and that I'll continue to advocate. Mamo, sit down there, my brother. May her soul rest in peace. We didn't have that kind of problem. Edison James sat down there, my brother. We didn't have those kind of problems. Since Edison James come out in government, my brother, they cannot accept defeat, my brother. People don't win elections on radio stations. I heard this man Sheridan talking tonight, those fellas talking nonsense garbage about take out the whole regime and tying in accidents, tying in this. Let me tell you something. Our young men, all right, we keep blaming economy, putting economy as a result of people's actions. Whatever people do is in economy, lack of employment. We fail to understand. Before time we didn't have television like we have now. We didn't have Netflix. We didn't have those PS4. We didn't have those kind of games people children playing today. And children are learning those things. Even if you go down by the school, you hear them talk. Before they talk about each other, they want to kill. But I have my knife, I'm going to stab Mister. They grow up with those things. Children learn what they live. They see the violence in the street. They see it in the community, my brother. And they emulate us a lot. Children emulate us. Hearts are becoming more wicked. That's what the Bible said, that foolishness is born in the heart of a child. And if a parent doesn't treat and teach the children properly, then those children go to grow to be bastards. No, government can't do nothing about that. We cannot do nothing. We can build centers. We can put all kind of trainings for them. We can even bring booby traps, whatever they call them. It's not going to curb the problem. The problem here is the heart is becoming wicked. People are more wicked. All right? There are children who are stating that if the police tell them nothing, and your little boy, if the police tell me nothing, that's why I just burst in Mr. Head and I shoot down the police. That's how I get my gun. I'm going to shoot the police. When children learn those things, when they hear those things, when they sit down in the television, my brother, and they're looking at BET, they're looking at Jamaica songs, and before our young men those days go into the music world, artists, they start talking about shoot down a nigger. If they don't talk about shoot down a nigger and don't call our women bitch, they don't good. They're good. They're happy. And you see them looking at them with a big gold chain, and all of them want the big gold chain. There's a problem there, my brother. That's the culture. And government cannot stop that, my brother. We can do what we want. We can put everything in place. We can implement all kind of programs. It's not going to change it. Finally, before I leave.
Yeah.
Finally. It's not all that glitters is gold. It's not all that glitters is gold. I was talking to one of my friends, a good United Workers Party friend of mine. And I was asking, why are you so busy? Why are you so desperate to take off this regime? Why you don't see all them things them man doing? I said, yes, I see everything they're doing. And I have no problem with what they're doing. But do you have a problem with what they're doing? Yes, I have a problem with what they're doing. As I say, you have a problem with the government housing people? You have a problem with government developing our infrastructure? Look at where we come from, all the way from Portsmouth. We drive into Roseau. You have never stopped to wave any puddle on the road. And you have a problem with that? You know what I've learned over the years in not just our national politics, but regionally and internationally? People vote to regret. People are desperate to take off what's good, to put what's bad, and later on come back to what they take out that's good and asking them to please come back and represent us. And we see the same thing transpired many times in St. Lucia, just St. Lucia there, you know. They just took off Labour. All right? They put Shastney in 2016. All right?
Yeah.
And they thought that Shastney was going to give them everything. They were talking about Gaston Shastney, say, I want to St. Lucie. Shastney can changer bagay. Shastney can face this, Shastney can face that. Just like our opposition here. Making people believe that when they sit down there, everything Dominica going to change. Crime going to change overnight. Hospital, airport, international airport going to build overnight. Everything going to be nice. The moment the same day they win, then everything going to be different in Dominica. The economy going to bloom. People going to get jobs and everything. They took off the government, Labour, and they put Shastney. And guess what? They regretted, every bit of them regretted that they did that. You see, when we are thinking of change, we must look within. We must ask ourselves, what is change? What is a change from Labour to United Workers' Party? What have United Workers' Party produced over the past few years that they've been in opposition, being given help, given assistance, office assistance to help their constituencies? What have they done to prove to any one of us in this country, besides talk, that they are worthy of our votes, that they are worthy of sitting down government office? And when we ask ourselves those questions, we'll realize we'd just be well making another mistake like St. Lucia did. And when you make mistakes, my brother, it's not easy. When you make a mistake, it's not easy, especially a mistake when you take off a government that's working to put one that's going to bring you, that's going to sink you. And all those people that's crying down the country, they must always ask themselves a question. What if we succeed in our quest to remove this regime and put the one that we want to represent us? When we give our country a bad name, how is the one we're going to put in or going to install, going to vote in, how are they going to change the bad name, the bad picture that we've created for our country? It's going to take years, my brother. You never hear that?
Yep.
It takes years to build a reputation, one day to lose it. Yes. Let us not put ourselves in the position Jamaica had themselves or found themselves. Let us not put ourselves in the position that St. Lucia is finding itself today. Let us not put ourselves in the position that Guyana is finding itself today, my brother. Let us not put ourselves in those positions that Haiti has placed themselves. As you know, it's a political crisis that put Haiti where it is today.
Yes,
political crisis. Brother, we better think. If we love our country, let us big up our country. Let us speak well of our country. Even if Americans may not be supporting Trump, they never bring down America. Even if America may not be supporting Biden, they're not bringing down their country. Never seen a white man bringing down his own, my brother. Only us black people, we must learn to appreciate what we have, appreciate who we have, and appreciate our country. Love our country. Government come, government go. Skerrit not there forever. Skerrit must go. All right? When the time comes for him to go, he has to go. Papa Bondi didn't put him there forever. All right? And we must thank Papa Bondi for Skerrit. All right, we must thank God for him because he has helped a lot of people. He has changed the face of this country, and he's trying under all the stress, all the frustration, all the bad name we're giving this man. He's been doing his best. Let us not take off what's good to put the devil. God bless you. God bless Dominica, and let's continue to pray for this young lady. Have a good night.
Thank you, man. Thank you. The excellent contribution there, caller. Let's take this call on the overseas line. The overseas line caller. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Mr. Steven.
Good evening, sir.
I would like to extend a belated birthday greetings to you.
Thank you, sir.
And I'd like to also ask you, where's my half of the cake? Where's my part of the cake?
It's in the fridge.
Yeah, maybe when I come down next year, maybe I'll get it, or maybe next time I'll get it.
Yeah, I suspect by that time you get a new kick.
Yep. Well, I listen to your show, man. Good vibe.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, all right, I'll continue to listen.
All right, take care, man. Take care. Thank you for your contribution there. Yes, and the caller before that made some good points, and of course some very, very serious points there, but I won't touch on one of them. But before that, let's take this call. Local line, good evening to you.
Good evening to you, my son.
Good evening to you, ma'am. Good evening.
How is your family?
You're doing good, thank you. God bless, ma'am.
I was going to call you today, I was wondering what is going on, if you're okay. And I sat down there listening, waiting after the sport business from to hear if my boy will be on. And when I get you, I was happy. And I always say the replay does be very good. So you can have, are you there with me?
Yes, ma'am, I'm there with you.
You can have the replay on a Thursday and a Friday, because it doesn't have nothing good on Thursdays and Fridays. So you can try to have a replay on Thursday and Friday to keep the station going on, to keep us in a movement, in a peace and joy and happiness. Though we are sad in the country for that disappearing of the child.
Yes.
But at least if we have the replay, and I enjoy the replay.
Yes, ma'am.
And I thought, I said, boy, long time my boy haven't given us a replay.
Yes, that's true.
So tell them to play the replay on a Thursday and a Friday, because we haven't got nothing during those 2 days.
We'll seek to see how that can happen, ma'am.
Okay, so anyway, God bless you and your family. And I'm happy nothing was not wrong. And your birthday was on the 8th, the 7th, the 9th?
The 13th, ma'am, the 13th yesterday.
Oh, it was today?
Yesterday, mommy, the 13th of June.
Oh, yes. Happy birthday to you, my boy.
Thank you, mommy.
And I wish you many and many, many more birthdays by the grace of God.
Thanks, ma'am.
He breathed in you and give life to you. Enjoy it and give thanks to him every day.
All the time, mommy.
Every day you can see the day. Give thanks and praise to him. Give glory and honor to him for making you see another day.
Yes.
Because we do not know when the hour, when the time, what is the minute, what is the second. And always pray the Lord is my shepherd.
Indeed.
Let him continue to shepherd you. Pray the Psalms 121. I will lift up my eyes to the heavens and to the hills from whence my help comes. Because without the help of God, we are restless. So pray the Psalm 121 and the 23rd Psalm. And also the Psalms 1. The world is the Lord and the fullness thereof. Because we did not bring anything in this world. We do not know how we come. But we know we have to live someday, somehow, what time, what hour. So always give thanks to the Almighty. Today my body wasn't 100% because I stressed out myself over that little girl. And I pray in a lot. I put in a light every day for my home, my children, my prime minister, and for that little girl. For her to be found in whatever way, I know the good Lord will bring her back at the right time.
Yes.
So we just have to continue to pray.
Indeed.
Don't say this say and this say and that say. Just leave that home. Just let that go and just trust in God. Because he said if we pray, we will move mountains. And he will save our land. He will save our nation. So Dominican labor right here and abroad, wherever you are, just continue to pray in faith. Do not doubt. Just trust in God and everything will be okay. So I say good evening to my Dr. Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit. Don't matter what the enemies of the state will say about you. Christ had chose 12 apostles to follow him. One betrayed him, one denied him, one wanted to push his finger in the hole where they pierced him with this nail. So you know you will have enemies, you will have people against you, but trust in God. He started at 12 years on his father's business, talking to lawyers, ministers, high priests, judge, people call themselves ministers and children of God. He was talking to them. After the novena, the mother was looking all over for him. When they found him, they said, we are grieving, we're worried about you. And there you are. Don't you know I am on my father's business? This is the response he gives to them. And then he went with them. He did not disrespect them. He was 12 years old. So I have hope that child at 12 will find herself back to her parents, her family, and let us just continue to pray. So I said, Prime Minister, don't give up. Keep your head above the waters. Christ carried that old rugged cross on that 14th station. He fell 3 times. Simon of Cyrene, when the soldiers put that cross on him, he could not carry it. Christ had to take it back and take it up to that old Calvary. So be strong, my Prime Minister. That is how it is. You have to go through the hard way to carry that crown of glory. So you're on a mission for the Lord in this country. He chose you to be the leader, not the boss, not the head, but the leader to lead his people and to take care of his country. So give praise to him always. In your trials, go to him in prayer. You're accustomed of crying when trials come. So continue crying to God. He is the way, the truth, the life, and he will lead you to the right path. May he continue to bless you. Bless your wife, your children, your families, your in-laws, and all the ministers of government, the senators, that they will take part from you, they will take from you to look after the people in their constituency, the less fortunate, the downtrodden. Look after them, the sick, the poorest of the poor. Look for their needs. This is what God will love us for. He said, care for each other. Do not leave all the load on the Prime Minister. He cannot carry everybody's load because he's not Christ, but he's trying. So try to walk with him in spirit and in truth and do the right thing.
Yes.
Whatever he put in the constituency, use it wisely for the needy and the sick, the poor, the poorest of the poor. And continue to pray, and you will be victorious. Don't be boastful and proud. You are the servant of the people.
Indeed. Thank you, ma'am.
Do what you all have to do for the country and for the people.
Thank you,
and
ma'am.
God will continue to see you all through.
Yes.
So, Simeon,
Yes,
don't
ma'am.
worry. Be happy. Keep your head above the waters. Don't sink and call on Jesus. I'm sinking. You see, when Peter walked on the water, he was afraid. Oh, man of little faith. So be strong and have faith in God. Trust in him. And everything will be okay.
Yes,
so
sir.
God bless my Prime Minister, his wife, his children, his cabinet, and Dominica and Dominicans labor right here
Thank you,
and
ma'am.
abroad.
Thank you, mommy. Thank
and
you.
may he continue to watch over you, see me.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
When you drive in,
Yeah.
drive safely.
Will do.
Do not pick up anybody expressing at night.
Will not.
Because the enemies is out there.
I know that.
When I look at RP in the cemetery and walking, the man know he's going down. And he want to carry Dominican with him, but not the Liberate going down that road with him.
That's right.
We're not going down that road with RP and Lennox.
Not at all.
We're looking up to Jesus, the Lamb of God, who took away the sins of this world. Let us hold on to the unchanging hands and let us cover ourselves with the blood, because he gave it for the whole world. What are they going in this cemetery to do? There was not a funeral. They were not going to bury somebody. What were they doing there with the Dominica flag in their hand? This thing hurting me. To destroy the soul that God created? To gain power? Power not belongs to them. Power belongs to God Almighty, creator of the universe.
Yes, ma'am.
And he gave leadership to one man in this country, and to choose apostles to follow him, to work with him, to develop the country. So I don't know what Afimate, what Linton looking for. He know he will not win. He's the devil and Satan bride, and he leading his flock in the deepest darkness of hell. That is where they belong.
Thank you, ma'am.
Like calling on Michael the Archangel. Let me call on my...
I mean, I have another, when I tell you thank you, it means I have another call coming in there.
Yes, yes.
So you have to
but
learn
don't
to...
you want to listen to Michael the Archangel?
You just give me the Archangel a while ago, mommy. I get so much Archangel from me. I don't even know which one you want me to listen to now again.
Well,
but I have
Michael,
another...
Michael the Archangel
listen
is
to
the
me.
most powerful angel in
Listen to me. I have to bring in Senior Council. It's getting late, and I have to bring him in on the line. So I would like you to heal at this moment to him.
Anyway, I live in the blessing of God upon my land.
I believe you are blessed us enough tonight already.
My Prime Minister and also Mr. Austri. Mr. Austri, I have to come and see you because I am sick and tired.
Let me thank you.
Service. Okay, Mr. Austri?
Thank you, mommy.
Come in and check you. Have a blessed day, my son. Have a blessed night.
I said, Mr. Austri, a private message. Good night.
Okay. Have
All
a
right.
blessed night, my son.
Take care, ma'am. Yes,
I.
All right. Mommy, it is something you say, boy. I don't have patience with her. All right, I got to take a shot to the break, then I come back now to bring my colleague, the Senior Council, yes, certainly, to weigh in on tonight's discussion there. But he tell me I have a lot of patience. Yes, I have a lot of patience. All right, let me play a little song there for you. I come in right back there. Yes, I.
Uh-huh. Everybody! Jalan, give us 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 We shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. They could come with propaganda, all their lies and all their slander, try to mislead the people with their hate and all their evil. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. The best thing that happened to this country is Garrett and the Labour Party. We wanna bring to bankruptcy. Now have a growth in the economy. Got a leader with endless vision, youthfulness and dedication. Suspect that things would be tight. Went to China on the next flight. Cuba and Venezuela, what a brilliant leader. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. We shall not be, we shall not be moved. We shall not be, just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. They could come with propaganda all their life.
Yes, they could come with propaganda all their lives. On the line with me there, my colleague there and brother Senior Council Anthony Astephen. Good evening to you, brother. Good evening.
You see why I love Mommy? You tell Mommy I on the line, Mommy tell you that's the last blood of Jesus she given you and she gone.
Yeah.
She talk, Mommy, I love you too, darling. Take care of yourself.
No hesitation from her.
I don't know, but Mommy, one day you must tell me your secret. I don't know where you get that energy from. I'm younger than you, and I dying with. I don't even have energy to answer the phone.
But we'll have to give you the recipe.
Like a rocket. Something to drink.
Yeah, but
Anyway, comrade, what's up?
I cool, man, let's see. But thank you for calling. I know it's not usually common solely first, but thank you for coming on. But Senior Counsel, it's been some trying times for us in the country, as you heard recently. There, this young 12-year-old went missing, was kidnapped apparently, and there have been a lot of work ongoing by the citizens of the country. We saw the leadership that Dr. Skerrit, offered to make sure that the state resources can be available to assist in the process. And we also saw the opposition at the same time criticizing, the leadership of Prime Minister Skerrit. Even in that process, we also heard Dr. Skerrit speak as well about the fact that Dominica is a safe country to be in, and he did so as the leader of the country because of the negative that we are coming from the opposition about, trying to pin Dominica as if, it is a country. I heard Mr. Andre, we've tried on Gregor and them tonight, they're again trying to say that it's because of unemployment and poverty why violence is happening in Dominica, trying again to bring the country into the politics. Yes.
Let's just pause there, right?
Yeah.
The suggestion that violence is being caused by poverty is absolute garbage, and Irvin Andre knows that. It's BS.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
And we all know the causes we do not all know the causes of violence. Some are drug-related, others are because of fights and violence, and so on. I mean, if you're having violence because of poverty and unemployment, you would expect people trying to rob places like supermarkets and banks and so on. But that's not what you're seeing. Mm-hmm. And it cannot be because of unemployment, because that's an asinine statement. When right now we have one of the highest rates of unemployment, one of the lowest rates of unemployment, or any other way, the highest rates of employment that we've ever had. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You just have to look at the statistics coming out of Social Security for the number of persons being registered for employment and the contributions being made. Mm-hmm. So when Irvin Andre comes and talks his garbage, you just have to flush him down the toilet, man. Mm-hmm. It's just pure asinine garbage. Mm-hmm. And it's shocking that he's continuing to talk like that as a judge in Canada.
Yeah,
in my honest way.
I know, but I see.
I just wanted to point out what does unemployment have to do with the situation right now with this young girl? I think it's an absolute tragedy what has happened to this girl. Mm-hmm. I am a father of a slightly younger son than hers, and every time I think of her, I look at my son and I get very emotional. Because what would I think? What would I be thinking if it was my daughter somewhere in the bush, somewhere with somebody who it is said to be slightly off his head? Mm-hmm. 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 And you know how I would feel if I heard the father or the mother of the person who kidnapped my daughter talking about pretending that the kidnapper is a victim, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. or that my daughter was taken as a comfort. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we are remaining silent with that, and the opposition forces are trying to peddle their garbage about unemployment and trying to portray the kidnapper as an innocent victim.
I guess that's what it will be too.
I know some in the group chat we have don't like the idea about me talking like that.
No, but the point you raise in there, is important, Essie. Mm-hmm.
I would be embarrassed as a hypocrite if I said nothing about the fact that this 11, 12-year-old girl is out there. Mm-hmm. And parents of the boy are talking about they know she's safe and they haven't told the police anything. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the Prime Minister has put all the resources of the state to date into securing the return of the girl alive.
Yes.
And Matt Peltier is publishing that garbage on Q95. Mm-hmm. as if saying my priority is my son and not the child. Simeon, I am extremely upset about this situation. Dominicans have come out en masse. And I have not heard the mother or the stepmother or the stepfather asking people from their church or their own children to go and look for this little girl. And it's really troubling me that there's an 11 or 13-year-old child somewhere out there in darkness with somebody whose parents say he's cooking for her because he has pots and pans. Oh, I'm supposed to stay quiet? We are supposed to stay quiet? It's an absolute disgrace and a stain on all of us if we don't say or do something to try to save this little girl. And as I try to explain to a friend of mine, anytime you see something happen to somebody else's child, put yourself in the shoes.
Yes, no doubt.
Take off your shoes and put yourself in their shoes and see how you would feel. All right? The same way I felt when I watched on television the slaughter of 19 children and 2 teachers at a school by a madman.
Yes.
Right? And I felt, but supposing my son was at school there. Same thing with the child. If it was my child, how would I feel? And how would I feel hearing Matt interviewing the kidnappers' parents talking that they took my child for comfort? Remember, let me tell you something, right?
Yes.
Maybe I'm blessed to be a father. I love my son. I love my family. But I feel the pain of every child. My son gets a finger ache. I start to shake. Just imagine that happening to him or to your daughters. Can we just sit silently by?
Not at all, let's see.
I mean, it is just sickening to me what happened to this child. And parents of the boy are trying to justify it or excuse it.
I mean,
and the United Workers' Party trying to make him into a matter that somebody or the police don't kill him.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You know what bothered me about this thing, Simeon?
Yeah.
The first night, the first morning or the second morning this thing happened, a grandmother in the area called, crying on the radio. Crying about somebody, I don't know if it's the same fellow, harassing schoolgirls on their way to school and begging the police to do something about it. When somebody can cry and talk like that about something, it went straight to my soul. And every day on the group chat, I'm asking, is there an update? Where is this child? Have they found her? Are they coming close to finding her? Nobody knows. But a boy's father or mother is saying that they know she's safe.
I don't know how they could know that. I mean, if they claiming that they don't have information on his whereabouts, I don't know how they could say that. That was somewhat strange, coming from them.
Bushman, let me tell you something, right? I am deeply troubled by I know we have a lot of mountains and valleys. Somebody in that village, whether his parents or step-parents or his family, whoever they may be, must know something about him. Must know his habits, must know where he goes. Something is wrong, Simeon. There's something foul in all of this that I have not yet begun to even comprehend.
It's a lot of mix up coming out there as to what's really going on, you know.
4 or 5 days? 4 or 5 days?
Yep. Time is moving ahead.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you anymore.
Time is. We just have to keep praying for them.
I pray for this girl. I think of her every day. I look at a picture on DNO every single solitary day. I go on DNO looking for good news. I see her picture. With that beautiful smile on the veranda.
Yes.
And some fella just decided that he just taking her, go and that's cool with his parents.
There's nothing cool about that.
What else is new? What else is new, man? What's going on?
But you know, as you know, this is happening, and at the same time, we have an opposition in the country who somehow want to seek to use part of the situation of the crime that's happening, the violence that's happening, and to give the impression that, yeah.
You know why I couldn't call you earlier?
Tell me, sir.
I was doing another radio show in Antigua. And I was asked, what's the role of the opposition, of an opposition party? Is it to oppose for opposing sake? What is it for? I said, you know what the role of an opposition party is?
What?
To tell the truth. To put country first. To put people first. To put self last. And stop lying to the people of this country and stop trying to suck blood out of stones by making a gossip mongering, scandal mongering issue out of every single simple matter. Members in the opposition have to learn to tell the truth. But they can't because the leadership of the United Workers' Party in Dominica is led by a pathological liar.
Yes.
A man that has been found to have lied at least on 2 occasions on having sworn on the Bible to tell the truth. And everything is a scandal. Everything is a rumor mongering. Gabriel Christian, Irvin Andre, all these fellas, they can't help it. They have descended into this alternative universe in which they alone live in.
Yes.
And they try to create news items based on fake news that they create. How can anybody in their right flipping mind talk about crime being caused by poverty and unemployment when we have one of the highest levels of employment and the lowest levels of unemployment in the country? And we've had the highest reduction of poverty and unemployment in the OECS over the last 10 years. How? With all the employment taking place in all of the construction work, the hotels, the businesses, the farms, the factories. I mean, come on, man. Get out of the gutter. We have to tell them fellas, stop thinking up the place with the gutter politics that you're playing. Poverty is causing violence in Dominica. It's the same garbage that Thompson Fountain said when they went around the country. People say they want gun to kill Chinese man and Haitian because they're taking everything. And Irvin Andre comes from his boudoir in Toronto, wherever he is, to come and say crime is being caused because of unemployment. Does that idiot know what the level of rate of unemployment and poverty in Dominica is right now?
Well, I don't think they care about the rate because they don't speak about any statistics in relation to what the rate would be or any of these things are.
The IMF said in 2014, long before the boom that's taking place now, after Erica, after Maria, and during COVID, that give or take 4%, Dominica's rate of unemployment was either 6%, would have been about 6% or 14%. If you take away the 4%, that's no longer looking for jobs, down from 28 or 29% from 2003. So what do you think it's going to be now? And the Director of Social Security should tell us, regularly update the people in this country as to what are the number, the volume of contributions being made. All right, how many people are being registered? And the other point is this: when you look at these statistics coming from the credit union and from the deposits at the banks, a country with a high level of unemployment can never have that level of deposits and savings in the credit unions or in the banks. We have that level of deposits and savings in the credit unions, over $500 million at one stage in National Cooperative Credit Union. There was talk about significant growth of assets on the West Coast Credit Union as well. A country that has significant unemployment does not have significant savings and deposits in the bank or especially in a cooperative credit union. That's a contradiction in terms. In terms, that's a just inconceivable to me.
Yes.
That people can go on the radio, especially educated people, and follow an uneducated crowd that has embarrassed us and himself, and don't read to come to grips with what are the fundamental issues in our country. We're not perfect. There's no perfect country. The United States right now is going through a significant crisis.
Oh, yes. Inflation is wrecking the world now.
Yeah, with inflation, rising cost of goods, shortage of goods, rising fuel prices. A country that can manufacture $1 trillion overnight, America can print $1 trillion overnight.
Yes.
Can't do it. And we who can't print money are going to have to cope with crises caused by others rather than ourselves. And we are trying our best.
Yes.
These prime ministers and these politicians are trying their best. And you have a kidnapping of a girl by somebody that says mentally imbalanced. You have shootings in some areas, and when you look at the pictures, you come to the conclusion. But what's motivating that? Poverty?
Not at all.
Shoot a man in the street after a fight or in a rum shop or because the drug deal gone bad, and that's supposed to be poverty-driven violence?
Not at all.
You know, Simeon, we have so many people that are just sitting there cocking up or concocting up, whatever word you want to use, these fanciful stories because they believe Dominicans like Medvey and so on just like scandal-mongering. We don't like scandal-mongering. We despise scandal-mongering. We want politicians on the opposition side to start telling us the truth, to start becoming constructive, to start talking about issues that affect us and not the same garbage for the last 20 years. My brother, I know you're ready to go home, you see. So I tell you something, my heart is broken for that girl.
Indeed.
I wish there was something that I could do other than just feel extremely sad about the whole situation. And I find some of the statements made about that situation absolutely despicable. And I, of course, thank the Prime Minister for doing all that he can to make sure the resources are available. But there's something going on there, brother man. And the truth shall be revealed, as Nazio Fountain, as the great Nazio Fountain said. The truth will be revealed sooner or later, comrade.
That's right, brother. That's right.
Take care. God bless, man.
Thank
Mommy,
you.
have a good night, eh?
Thank you, SC, and family. Take care, man.
I hope Mommy in bed and pull up the blanket to her chin and have a good night.
All right, my brother. Thank you again for joining us here tonight. It's already 10:58. They're moving up to the hour there. But you know, I want to just go back on something that one of the callers said earlier on, because I've pondered on that point quite a bit, and it have to do with when the caller said that the opposition behaves like as if you just take out Labour there and you put them there, everything in the country is going to be 100%. And I mean, and frankly speaking, I listen to some of those that advocate on behalf of the UWP. I listen to them and I listen to the points they try to bring forward as to the opposition, and they give you that impression like as if I'm saying that they have a man who is at the helm of the leadership of their party who nobody would have employed. One, nobody recognized his application that he sent to them, because based on what he told us, that he had sent applications to many people and none of them would engage him or even write back to him or even would recognize him and say, well, boy, we know Lennox Linton, he is a UWP, right? We want to give him a job. Nobody would actually give him a job. But you have those who are advocating with their propaganda on the other side of the aisle, wanting to say, just take out labor there. Take out labor there and put, you know, and the caller was so right when he spoke about the consequences that some of those actions can have. And that's why I really want to commend all of the citizens of Dominica who have, whether you live here and you work abroad, but who have all come together when election is called to protect this country, you know, to cast your vote for who you believe is rightfully the persons to lead your country. And you all have done that over the years in electing Dr. Skerrit and the Dominican Labour Party, because you cannot risk that putting this country in the hands of people who, you know, you don't know what you're going to get. And the caller spoke about countries where they just change his government this term and they put one the other term. And he mentioned St. Lucia as an example where, you know, they every 5 years they somehow seem to want to make a change. These are having also a negative effect on the growth of the country as well, because sometimes you get things that are either started and not completed, and because of change of government, and the other government may not have what it takes to keep things working, and because of that, the people are suffering, and you see that happening, for example, with something as simple as a hospital that got burned in St. Lucia that they had to repair. And it has gone through how many political cycles while the Labour Party is trying to see they can get this particular hospital built for them, because they are actually housing the people at the stadium in St. Lucia because of, and so you have a political football now going on with this particular facility because of some of the mistakes that they make. But the people of Dominica has actually elected the Dominica Labour Party for all of these times, because the Labour Party has proven time and time again that under the leadership of Dr. Skerrit, that the right decisions are being made for the people of Dominica. And sometimes there are challenges, and there will always be challenges, because I don't think there is a single country where there is not a challenge. But to listen to those in the opposition who no doubt have been tested, they have been tested. There is nothing that we can say about they have not been tested. I mean, the few businessmen they had once upon a time that could have said, well, you know, we are businessmen, we can come here and make a difference. They too were tested. Now you have an opposition leader, obviously, who, as I said, you know, doesn't have a track record of success where running anything is concerned. I mean, he doesn't have that. And that's why as soon as Colgate Palmolive took over DCP, they got rid of Lennox Linton, because, you know, they figured, what are we doing with Mr. there? I mean, basically he had a job where he was being granted a favor. And that's how Linton really kept that job at DCP, because he was being granted a favor. Similar to how Edison James took him and make him leader of the UWP again, to just put him into a position, even if Edison knew that, you know, the criteria under which he wanted to engage Linton, he felt that one should consider their leader. Even when you examine the very criteria that Edison James himself said that a leader need to have, I mean, you know, he need to be a household name, he need to be someone who is known to be working in his community or to be whatever, he need to be someone that can raise money. When you look at those criteria, obviously Linton doesn't fit none of these. I mean, yeah, maybe the household name part he would fit because he was in the media and he would have been known, but he didn't know nobody himself, because obviously he told them not because when they see him that they must think that because they say hello to him that he knows them, because according to him, I don't know you. And so this is what Lennox Linton said to the people. So he actually does not fit into any of these criteria. And so how is the UWP and Lennox Linton would solve Dominican problem? When Edison James was supposed to be an expert in banana, had all the brains, I suppose, having worked with different institutions, could not save the industry even when he was prime minister, and so on. So I beg me pardon when I hear them talking about, like, all your bills will be paid, all loans you have in the bank will be paid, you will be debt-free because Linton will give everybody 25. Well, obviously he wanted to bribe people in the election when he come with that. But this is a point I definitely want to examine further. On the local line there, good evening to you, caller.
Yes, Simeon, me tell my colleague, you know why I call again to ask your question a little bit. But Simeon, the caller that caller just talking there, the caller, I love his energy, great energy, respect my brother. Continue calling because I love your energy, trust me, great. But Simeon,
Yeah.
caller well talk, but well and truly, Simeon, I don't think we're going to make mistake, you know, because well and truly we had 15, we got 18, and the next trip now is Queen Strip, 21 clean. You know what I'm telling you?
Yes.
But Simeon, before I will, let me tell you something. The what they call in bogus case, or they call, why do you mean not bogus? What do you mean bogus? Why do you mean that well and truly?
Bogus case?
What do you mean, like, in sight of Thompson Fountain, you're saying they're arresting bogusly or whatever? Or
The leader of the opposition wants people to believe that the incitement case that was brought against him is a bogus matter, and that so they use the word bogus to give people the impression that it's a false matter. It's not real. It's not true. It's as if it's somebody that get up in the morning, like Hollington get up in the morning and just go and call the minister's rapist, and because it was in his head. He wants people to give the people the impression that, you know, somebody else get up and put a charge on him, like he was never in Roseau, like he never said what he said to the people, like he never said what he said to Matt Peltier, and as if somebody make these things up on him. But I don't make things up on people. When we come on this program, we present the facts and the evidence to substantiate the claims we're bringing forward. Yeah.
Because why I say that, Simeon, well and truly, you know why I say that? Because as man, when Thompson come to River Nick and he get arrested, right? I myself know, I wonder what was the issue. Now, right away, QRD program saying that Thompson was in the studio and whatsoever, blah, 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 blah. But Simeon, when I say to myself, same way, I ask me a question. If I see you at your home there and you call fireman to go and do a crime for you, and you give me my money, I go and do the crime and they hold me, and I say you that send me. Do you not part of the crime, or you not create the crime, or is me that take the action? You not part of the crime?
Of course I would be part of the crime.
Thank you very much. No, hear that again, Simeon. No, when I hear the man saying all them story they were saying there, I was checking, but if Thompson don't do nothing, how come the police when you can arrest Thompson based on what he was saying? You check? When I realize now I get it, when we listen to your originals, you just say, we don't just come and program and just say things for talking sick. And even when them host, like all human hosting, like Mr. Diary, like call it Mr. Froggies, you know, Froggies in boys school are a strict man. You know what I'm saying? So when man call and say certain things, they'll correct the call and tell them that's not correct and them way. But then other fellas don't say anything. Because when I find to myself now, when I hear the tape on our side, where Thompson trying to direct police, and to know how you can be in a studio and directing police, Simeon. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
So on that case, and that part alone, personally, no matter how much lawyer you have in the world, if you see not inside, then that thing have a problem. You know what I'm telling you? So which means you're an action partner. So you have respect, and that is the man problem from a very long time. That's why I want to just to claim that point, because I am man talking, I am man like judge police. Not because you're the politician, but you're the police officer. I mean, you should know better, my brother. Don't be ignorant and arrogant like that, man. I mean, not because you are a politician today to have the country and the people ignorant like that, Rasta. You know better than that. Yeah. You as a police officer, you should know better. I any man using and cannot turn my chicken, but judge have a serious problem, man. Let's get real, my brother. You know what I'm saying? As you just say, and as the brother say, my lord, we don't make no mistake again. Next trip is 21 clean. Simeon, I suspect them call maybe top up cut day line, but Trump only have line up and running. So
yes, I. Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, looking like top up cut them line, but Trump always have my line up and running. But Simeon, as I say again, Simeon,
yes,
this country there, Simeon, is our country for to build, Simeon.
Sure.
Simeon, we love our country.
That's right.
Simeon, we don't have no other place to go, Simeon. I don't know if we go in Africa, but most have to go Africa. And that's not why I'm going, because my father, my king, I call him Rastafari, Emperor Selassie, I tell me. If we can't get organized here, you know, over there we can get organized because over there have a problem already. You know what I'm telling you, Simeon? So where they give us, where we live in Simeon, we have to prepare our place, prepare our people, do the right thing. And the Father give us the right leader in the right position.
True.
And we have to always give thanks for him, and that's why I tell you, brother, thank you. That's why I call you world boss. Nobody can stop me because he's a world boss.
Yeah,
if Mr. Senior Concluder to say it, I will say it. If Senior Minister to say it, I will say it. That you is a world boss, and nobody can stop you. Simeon, we are the best brand in the little country there.
Yeah, man.
Simeon, we've been at the back for hundreds of years, I tell you. No without time to shine. Simeon, there is no stop to us. We have to love our country and love our people, Simeon.
Yeah, man.
As his brother say again, in spite of what happening there, Simeon,
yeah,
whosoever know what happening, everybody talking. The most important thing is bringing the Empress across and make people see the Empress present. But I tell you, even Bush, I myself know for a fact that Empress was in Bush. Because if that Empress in Bush, she have to be a Turkey or a Torti. I tell you personally, let's get it real, Simeon. That is a mountain of Thailand, the only place is very cool. Mr. Summer, I tell you, Mr. Summer, Mr. Mao, Master, some, as the brother say, people know Mr. Sarongin, but who job bless no one, because if I never give you more than what you cannot bear.
Yeah, man.
When the right time come, what will have to come to pass will pass, and what have to happen will happen, Simeon.
That's right.
If I don't know better, if the youth are alive and up and running, we will get the youth up and running. Because I tell you again, many shall be called, few shall be chosen, Simeon. It's the evil works doing evil thing. And when people want to, and before I run, when people want to blame the little country, Simeon, Map and Pool live 100 and number just 45 years or 40 years.
Yeah.
So anytime you want to get a good place to live, Trump by pen Michael, Trump just tell me right now we're gonna hook up Mr. Putin and them fellas in Russia and thing for them to come and spend a little holidays in Rivernica. So I love that. You know what I'm saying, Simeon? Simeon get this straight, but our place is a great place, boy. Simeon up and running again, boy.
Yeah, man.
Fireman running there. Who doing wrong? Fire burn all you, boy.
Yes,
up and running again, fireman running. Bless up, my brother.
Take it easy there, fireman, and thank you again for calling in here this evening there to the program. But as we come to the point where we will soon be wrapping up tonight's program, it's important that we continue to defend Dominica. Like every other country, Dominica will have its challenges, and it will come, it will happen. But we have to learn to manage it. We have to learn to go through the process, and we have to, do all that is necessary to correct it. And I hope that whatever comes out of the situation in Warner, that there'll be a lesson, there'll be a postmortem into the situation that we're dealing with. It is a crucial one, and people have been injured. The uncle is hospitalized. I'm not sure if he's still there, but he may still be there because of his injuries sustained by this cutlass, this vicious cutting that was applied to his body by this young man, basically seriously disturbed young man. And from all that I have heard on this particular matter tells me that this young man, has a condition, and he's suffering within himself, and he needs to be. It's rather unfortunate that for the faith and the prayers that the mother and the family, who I heard on the radio speaking about, if you are not a Christian, you are worshiping the devil or whatever she was saying there. But, for people who are churchly going, who are praying people, it's rather unfortunate that their son have to be in such a condition. As they said, they brought him up in the church, and but obviously he himself have had to go through certain things. And some people in life, their fuse very small. Some people have stronger fuse than others. Some people can take more pressure than others. Some people, different situations they can handle differently, and so that's why these things happen. And in the case of this young man, he himself, from all angles, have had some challenges. But what he did in chopping up his uncle was dead wrong. What he did in kidnapping this young lady was dead wrong. And according to Kenny G, he is a smart madman. That's who, according to Kenny G, my partner Kenny G described him, that he is a smart madman. Because obviously what he's doing there is a madness by itself. And he has so far been able to hide himself from the authority and from all of the people who have searched all of Bells, Layu Park, and just name it. And his mother said that police was looking for him once, and he said to her that, he was just right there, looking at the police, looking for him. So you never know what tricks he have in his book and what he's up to. So he's doing this thing. You would think that, well, he kind of mad smart, because some mad people, they doing their thing, but their madness seem to be something that they may be not thinking right, but somehow these guys seem to be playing his cards, and so whatever he's going through there, let's pray that the child can come back safe, that he can be captured safe, yes, and that he can get the help that will be required to assist him to come back to his good senses and his true senses, and to maybe be able to live a normal life, and so it is heartbreaking when families, mothers who have to bear a child into this earth sometimes have to witness all of the evil that on this earth that can dwell within your child and your children, and the suffering that it can bring about on the entire community and the country by extension, like we are seeing happening in this particular case with this young lady, this child. So again, we have to keep our prayers out there for this child. We know the young man, as much as he has a psychotic problem, but we know that he can handle himself even in the jungle for 6 months. But we don't know about the child, and we don't know what he has done to her. We have to be concerned. We have to be worried, and I want to advocate for those that are the people who are posting. If people are really posting these fake Facebook pages and are saying these things and are doing what they're doing, that I'm urging them to refrain from doing that. This is not a joke in matter. This is not it's a very sensitive matter, I should tell you, because the life of a 12-year-old is at stake. While at the same time, you have a young man who has a condition, no doubt, that requires a lot of help. And so we pray for them, and we pray for their safe return, and hopefully common sense will prevail. And I heard the mother said that, or one of the people said that sometimes these people react to the moon. And so they said the moon was full, and that's why his behavior is the way it is. Let's pray that as the moon going down, his wisdom will come back to him. He was raised in the church, like his mother said, church-going young boy. He was trying to do everything right in his life once upon a time. But you see, the devil is always there, people. And we must never forget that. Devil is always there. Something threw him off somewhere along the route. And we all sometimes are faced with challenges. And we must learn to face it and take it to the Lord in prayer. Don't take it in the form of violence or doing things that will make things worse. So let's keep our prayers for this community of Warner and for the families, and that their children will return safely and all will continue in this country. Let's continue to condemn all of those who commit acts of violence. We do not support it. We do not encourage it. And unlike the opposition UWP, we do not see that as our role in the Dominican Labour Party. Our role is to maintain peace and to care for each other and to help to provide a better living for our brothers and sisters in this country. So as I make my way out of there tonight, I want all of us to pray tonight that God will, really bring common sense, because, God give all of us that gift of common sense. And so let's hope that common sense, through the grace of God, will prevail in the mind of this young man, and that he will understand that what he is doing and what he did, that he has to face it and somehow bring conclusion to it, so that, the entire country and all the hardworking police officers and persons who are out there in the bushes, including the people who are coming from the other countries to help in that process of that search, that, that this can really come to an end, and that people can go on living their life safely. It's an unfortunate situation that has happened there, and we really pray for them. And pray for them. We must pray. Thank you again. I have to go. It's always a pleasure doing this program for you. The situation of violence is something that every country is dealing with, and Dominica is not a violent country for that. But it's just that, we have to learn to solve our disputes differently. We cannot want to solve our disputes by using guns and using cutlasses or knives. The results, the end is never a good ending. And so I dare call on all of our citizens and the young people to be honest in what all you're doing. Honesty is very important, and keep your word in whatever it is that you're doing. Don't double-cross your brothers and sisters. Don't be a double-crosser, because these things there, sometimes some people don't take them lightly. Some you will double-cross them and they will understand and they will walk away. Some you will double-cross them and they wouldn't take it easy and they feel they must take some revenge. There are many things that provoke violence. We must learn to conduct ourselves properly to avoid it. Thank you again. It's always a pleasure. Let me thank the folks who join us on the Kyrie FM Facebook page. Thank you for joining us tonight. And Senior Counsel, thank you for calling. And the many folks who called tonight and those who do not call, thank you for listening. It's always a pleasure knowing that you all are listening. Let's continue to pray for our political leader, Dr. Skerrit, and his family as he continue on this job to lead Dominica. We heard that fuel prices are going up around the world. You know, in the U.S. now, a gallon of gas is over $5. Now it's over $14 and change for a gallon of fuel there in the great United States. And, it's about $15 and change a gallon. Hearing that in St. Lucia, it's going to be $17 and change. The government is doing all that is possible to try to keep this cost, as much as possible down. They have taken measures already to remove some of the tariffs and some of the other taxes that are affecting the cost of fuel. The state need to generate money at the same time to manage the affairs of the country. And so the challenge continues in the world while we continue to see the high cost of goods and so forth, are increasing. And I'm even hearing about there being a food shortage in some countries because of this war that is ongoing. So, yes, as we continue to live our lives, let's continue to make sure that we, look at making life easier for each other. And because this time we have on this earth is not forever, and it's past we passing. And we all have a mission there, but let's do it in a way that will show love and show peace and understanding for our nation, Dominica. Thank you again. God bless you all, and do have a wonderful night rest. It's already 1:11. I got to go now tonight. I will be back here on Saturday. If God spare my life, we will continue our discussion. In the meantime, let's pray that we can hear good news tomorrow or, the sooner tonight or in the early hours of the morning that this young lady has been discovered, so that the families, the grandmother, and all the people who I heard who spoke can finally come together with their child and have peace of mind and be able to have a good night rest. Thank you again. God bless you all, people, and take care of yourselves and take care of your family, and let's try our best to always remember to pray to the good Lord for peace, yes, and tranquility on this earth. Good night again, and take care. I leave you with our favorite song, We Shall Not Be Moved.
Everybody! Jalan, jalan, we shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. They could come with propaganda, all their lies and all the slander, try to mislead the people with their hate and all their evil. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. The best thing that happened to this country is Skerrit and the Labour Party. We wanna bring to bankruptcy. Now have a growth in the economy. Got a leader with endless vision, youthfulness and dedication. Suspect that things would be tight. Went to China on the next flight. Cuba and Venezuela, what a brilliant leader. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. They could come with propaganda, all their lies and their slander, trying to mislead my people with their hate and evil. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. That's it. Everybody, put up something red. Wave it over your head. people. Labor stepping, they want to cause struggle. Politically now go to no respect. Exploiting them on the water project. Supreme Scotland used to ball to labor to build their seawall. Zero, they would have to back it. Water tank on labor fix it. Whether you teacher, leader, elder, must give credit to labor. You better believe it. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that's planted by the water, Labour Party shall not be moved. Look out for a 5-star hotel, highway to Posse as well. Seaport reconstruction, rosary modification. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that planted by the water, Labour Party shall not be moved. Chance up. Inshallah, no question, inshallah, no question, inshallah. Just something red, wave them over your head. Some will never see the importance to give up for people assistance. So they have a problem with the clinic. Measures say they want to block it. Imagine they get in office, what would be their wicked practice? It's for people who put you there. At all times you got to show you care. The party in a working mood, don't interrupt that move. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that's planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that's planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. The government helping squatters to get their land and quarters, helping people. Some of you have an issue. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that's planted by the waters, Labour Party shall not be moved. You better know, inshallah, you best inshallah.